Hey everybody, welcome to Testing Grounds. Unfortunately had a bit of some issues getting into the start of the stream tonight, but now we are finally getting into it here at 9:30, starting on round 3, so not missing too much. The first match we are going to be seeing here is going to be Massacre versus License to Krill, so we're starting out pretty good, getting an interesting match here. I'm joined here by Snek or Sneku. Hold on.
Hello. Yeah, I'm Sneku, also known as one of the TOs for this tournament. But yeah, I'm on mic tonight. And yeah, it looks like the game's starting, so interesting comps from both sides. One team opting for a charge and one team opting for a ballpoint. So it'll be interesting to see how those two weapons interact. Ballpoint not being as popular as it once was.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually kind of surprised Bronze didn't go with his kind of token siege at here. Why do you think that might be, Snek?
I think it might just be for the mobility on top of glass, just having the rend speed of a splatling. But we see it looks like Massacre is taking a bit of a hit here at the start, and License to Krill is pushing.
Yeah, it looks like they had a bit of a strong start. They're getting a couple picks, but unfortunately getting a bit of retaliation from License to Krill. They're Bronze picking a very strong position on the top here and picking kind of a fight with the Charger on the side of Massacre. They are getting through that first checkpoint pretty quickly, though. And moving up here. Unfortunately, Ali going down in the situation, but doesn't seem to be slowing down License to Krill that much. They are not scared of this push at all.
Yeah, and it seems like Massacre is taking still. It's just a lot of back and forth here, actually, with them now basically resetting the tower back to mid, and looks like Massacre is about to be able to take their chance at pushing here. But they still have to deal with taking up the glass, which is so important on this map. If you're hoping to really get much further than that first checkpoint, because defense is just so strong until you can break onto their glass. Which we see as here, yes, the ballpoint taking strong advantage of that, and it looks like a wipe on the part of License to Krill here, which is...
Yeah, so it looks like License to Krill is going to actually be moving up even far. It seems the back and forth has definitely gone in their favor so far. Massacre being able to take out Bronze and getting through that checkpoint because of that, I think, since they had no contestation on glass. But now moving back into it, they unfortunately got taken out by the entire team. So they're probably going to churn through this checkpoint pretty fast. They had a few people on the tower there, but unfortunately it's just Flurry and Ali who are left to kind of jump out of mid. Unfortunately, Ali going down in the fight there, but... probably not going to slow down License to Krill too much because they do have these beacons set up here, so they're getting into mid very fast.
It's going to be really powerful on this map as well. That might be another reason that they chose the ballpoint here. But we see now that Massacre has two specials up, ready to potentially make some more out of this push. The Booyah Bomb being a great way to clear that top. This is definitely going to be a lot more impactful push than a lot of them we've seen before this.
Yeah, Flapper coming out of that with a double and ending that out, getting taken out by Ali, but it's not going to matter too much in that situation because they did get those two people down there. Getting through that there, it's actually going to be a pretty close game so far, just a 1-point lead on either side if I'm seeing things correctly here. Grim, of course, taking that tower is going to try and improve this lead as best as possible because this is the point in the match that matters the most with Schellendorf because things can get bad very fast if you get wiped here. So they're going to take full advantage of that. Unfortunately, going down in the process, Flurry's going to start painting up this left side here, probably trying to get some armor for the continual push, and of course contesting anyone who's coming onto the side here.
Yeah, but as we see there, Massacre got the tower to that last checkpoint, which if that checkpoint breaks, it's a very slippery slope on this map from there. So it's definitely good that they didn't let them bite too much on that checkpoint, as License to Krill is now looking to push up with the nice kill on Cat there. But it looks like they're not really getting too much stuck here with the specials coming out, the Stingray coming to stop that tower push, a Booyah Bomb as well. But it looks like License to Krill didn't take too much of a hit for that and might be looking to push their lead even further here.
Yeah, getting a little tricky with Greg on this jet here. Unfortunately, going down to 20XX. I think it's Mr. Z. I forget what the full name is without the meme, but that's going to actually be a full wipe for them. They do have quite a bit to go if they're going to want to try and extend that and get through the checkpoint, but that does stop License to Krill. Now they only do have a 1 minute left before they can get that lead back, and with one of them already going down, that's going to be a good start for License to Krill in this situation.
Yes, and they're definitely getting a pick right there on the armor user, maybe even before armor came out. Oh no, armor did come out, but not mattering too much as they're still cleaning up a bit of the remnants here. With that charger going down, that should be quite a bit of pressure off of mid taken off. So hopefully License to Krill is able to mount a good offensive here now off of that.
The second that charger goes down, it's full game for Bronze. He can do whatever he wants in this situation. So now he's moving up on a tower. Unfortunately, that's going to narrowly avoid that Booyah Bomb there. And there's a second one coming out, just out of the blue. I don't think they quite anticipated two of them coming right after each other. I definitely didn't see that coming myself. I probably would have missed an auditory cue there.
If it doesn't work the first time, try again, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. Bit of a bait there, I guess. Thought he could get back on the tower in that situation. Flabber is just going to be sharking here behind a tower, and unfortunately taking out Bronze and taking the tower. Yeah, you do have to be very careful in those situations, of course, when you're pushing up the tower, and you might think it's safe in front of you, but you really need to keep in mind where everyone on the other team is, because things like that can happen so easily.
And unfortunately, in overtime like that, you do have to keep the tower moving to some extent. You can't just leave it stationary. So normally in a situation like that, you'd want to have somebody go ahead, paint up that area, but they weren't really presented with much choice in this situation, unfortunately. And that was just a really smart play by the Sharker in that situation.
Yeah, a very, very good play from Flabber there, just opting to take the shark route and baiting out the tower in that situation, because they had so many points on the board, they could have just taken advantage of that. Of course, the next game is going to be Clan Blitz on Macomar. I can almost assume we'll be seeing the Sea-Jet coming back out of Bronze there, and we're going to be seeing probably a lot of Rays.
Definitely a very powerful Ray map, yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very narrow in this situation. It's going to help them a lot defensively here, which is, I think, where they struggled a little bit in the last game. They were really good at pushing up, but unfortunately, I think the Ray was just too good coming out of Massacre there for them. So I do think that can change the tides in this Clan Blitz game. As far as the offense went on both teams, I felt like it was pretty similar. I felt like they had pretty good offensive pressure from both sides. So I think that aspect will be pretty similar. It's just matter of...
It felt like the defensive specials on part of Massacre were just a lot more oppressive to any attempts that License to Krill made at mounting an offense against them. When, as we saw a Stingray coming at the ball points on tower. We saw a Stingray come at him, and we had Booyah Bomb, and again, another Booyah Bomb. Like, there was just a lot of stopping power in their special composition from, I believe it was a 52 gallon, a K-Pro, as well as a Charger. Like, just so much stopping power with the specials that once they got one good push to stick, it really was a very hard task to push past that point.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a lot of vantage points that you can't really stop those specials from going through. So, getting into this, actually, Bronze proving me wrong again. I didn't even know this was in his arsenal at all. He's playing the custom Explosher in this map mode, which is not a bad idea now that I think about it. Of course, the baller is a bit cliche in Clan Blitz, but nevertheless, it is still a special that can work, especially on Macomart, where the path to the goal itself is so short from mid that you don't really need to worry that much about getting shredded. Of course, now we see a lot of specials coming out extremely early from Massacre with the Ray from Z there, which does end up taking out a lot of them. Of course, you can only imagine how much quick respawn these people are using because they're already back.
The Ray was actually the fast Ray was actually a pretty smart decision against the Explosher, as the Explosher, if it doesn't have much paint around it, has to stop to get paint for it to move around in. So it was a really standing target when it has to paint itself a path away from the Ray. As we see, this push is actually getting quite a bit of momentum on the part of Massacre, with License Krill only barely stopping it at 42, which is a very significant push. They're going to need a total of 3 power clems to push past this quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Ali is going to be moving up into mid. Having her splashdown ready is going to be really helpful. And going onto this flank here, it's going to distract a few of them. But unfortunately, getting picked off at the peak of the splashdown there. Cat, of course, painting under the basket here. It is going to be important that License to Krill does the same thing as well, because their comp does lack a little bit of mobility from the 96 and the Explo, which happens to be the only two people standing right now. So they're going to have to definitely focus on backing up here in order to not get continually pushed on by Massacre here, because they have a huge opening if they're able to take Bronze out in this situation.
Yeah, License the Krill definitely needs to maintain leverage turf control as their almost win condition in this match because of their low mobility options. That could be very powerful. Well, not exactly low mobility, but it's that they really need to stop themselves if they're going to paint themselves a route for a lot of those weapons, which means that if they have turf control, they can dominate. But if they don't, they're gonna be playing a losing game.
Right, and with Z popping these stingrays as often as he is, it is, like you said, it is going to be a huge priority for them, and it is going to be a win condition, because every time he pops that thing, it feels like people are going down like crazy, because there's just no way to get away from it in this situation, especially with a narrow map like this. Of course, Greg moving up. They only have one man down on their side, and it is like a 1-1 situation as far as people down. So they do have a bit of a neutral field game. They are going to try and use this time to paint up and start dunking some clams in. They do have 2 down now. That is going to give them an opportunity, and that's actually a full wipe. This should be the lead if they're able to play this properly and get the right clams and time things well. And that was extremely fast. They've already gotten the lead from 100 there, which didn't take much time at all. And if they get this power clam in, that's... Oh!
Barely not.
It could almost be the knockout, but unfortunately... Oh wait, what? Oh. Flurry comes in and just dunks the clamp. So they do need to watch out and be very safe right here. It's only going to be Bronze. He's ballering in, which is going to give them the opportunity to maybe do something, but unfortunately just ran out of time barely there. Looking like Ali did jump in that situation and getting a trade out of it, which is actually not too bad, because that is going to slow down Massacre coming back. So they can't get a very quick push immediately with one man down, but nevertheless, that does give them the opportunity now that they have the pity clam to take back this lead.
License the Krill here, I'd definitely be trying to play a very turf-heavy game here. It looks like that's already slightly falling apart here, but definitely they just need to maintain control of the map, because this comp that they're fighting against, while it can get itself turf control, the specials that it has really lend itself to getting momentum and moving in on the enemy with the Stingray and moving through that. So if they can just maintain their turf control and stop them from moving freely up with a Stingray, then the comp doesn't really have too much to break through otherwise, just an armor. So they want to maintain their turf control basically against this comp. Otherwise, they're just going to get run over when a Stingray comes out.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like at this point in the game, they're just playing sort of defensive pressure in this at this point, which may or may not be working out for them pretty well. Flurry, of course, applying pressure there in the one area that they do need to push up. Getting Flabber out in the situation is going to help them a lot. They only have 1 ball now, so that is going to be their last opportunity. So they do need to play it safe in this situation, because they can see exactly where they are, and they can't really put it down to drop it, since it is overtime. That is going to be kind of a dangerous situation for them. Ali, of course, going down, which is going to remove a bit of a risk factor for them, but everyone's kind of throwing everything at Grim. That is unfortunately going to lead to him going down and them creating a ball and ending the game. Flurry just kind of stopped doing anything there, just standing there knowing that he won the game. But
yeah, very nice on the part of License to Krill there at the end. They stood their ground with the turf control, as I was saying, that they needed to maintain to stop that comp. We saw the 96 gal holding down that little ramp approach up to the basket, that little slant down, because 96 gal actually is a pretty high painting weapon. So approaching it's actually very risky. So they just held a good position there and stopped anything from snowballing quickly there. And they really held their ground in the right place, backing off just the right amount, and letting Massacre make their own mistakes of pushing into the weapons that they really shouldn't be. And then at the end there, during overtime, they kind of just burned a timer by just throwing themselves at each other, because they knew that Massacre didn't have resources. Even if they did kill them all, they would have had to scramble for resources. So they're just looking for a timer burn there at the end.
Yeah, I think what we kind of saw in that game was just a bit of a quality versus quantity type push going on in that situation, because Massacre got plenty of pushes in, but it felt like they almost let the aggression get too far in, and they got punished for it pretty hard, causing them to unfortunately lose that in the end.
I believe License to Krill only got one push in that entire
Yeah,
game, didn't
and
they?
they pushed it
Like,
all the way to 4.
they just made sure that when they did push, they did it off a wipe, which is very important. But they got a wipe when they had the resources, and they already had resources, and they had more clams on the field. They had access to via paint control, which overall just made a very good position for them to be able to put in a lot of points quickly. So very good awareness of them and taking advantage of that wipe very quickly.
So the deciding game for this set, unfortunately, is going to be on Rainmaker, which can be a very nervous situation. I think for anyone, I would be scared putting my bets on a Rainmaker game.
Yeah.
Humpback, I
Rainmaker
feel, is pretty fair though.
Rainmaker Humpback can be a very tense map as a player, I feel. Rainmaker on Humpback can really be tense. I remember a lot of sets here that just
Oh
felt
yeah,
like very intense.
especially in 2017, back in back when this was one of our
Of
only
course.
maps. This was like deciding factor for plenty of sets, and I feel like that's probably what we're going to see here, mirroring that. Of
This
course,
elbow
Massacre.
here, this elbow here is a very important part of the map, though. As we see here, Ray is infamous for stopping pushes here, and just getting past that little choke point right there is going to be key to winning this match. As we see both teams kind of re-entering neutral with License to Krill trying to pop the very slow pop with the jet squelcher there.
Yeah, Braun's needing a little bit of assistance from his teammates there. They are popping the Ray a little bit early, I find, on the side of Massacre here. Not being able to get past this checkpoint, well, this choke point, rather, themselves for License to Krill, sitting at just about the exact same points on either side, so it's a pretty even game right now. Of course, the charger on the side of Massacre is going to try and poke off some people from mid and License to Krill. Unfortunately, Grim going down in this situation, and Ali is going to be just pushing up on this corner very aggressively and almost taking out Flabber in the process. But now we do know Flabber's location. Unfortunately, a little slow grabbing that splash wall, but Flurry actually grabbing the Rainmaker just to push a bit of a lead and perhaps stall them a little bit in this situation, because what they want to do there, they see their people going down, so they're going to want to try and stop Massacre here from moving up as quickly as they were. So even just popping the Rainmaker and moving it a little bit farther is going to help them a lot, because that does slow them down. They have to pop it again, and then that's another penalty to them. It's farther away from where they want to be.
I feel like that Rainmaker grab in particular was one to just get a little bit of insurance on their points, but also to make it to where that they couldn't immediately go into mid and take that control. As we said, to the comps for License to Krill, their comps kind of play off of needing paint control. In this match, it looks like they have a little bit less of heavy painting weapons, but still have the Tetras and the Octoshot and such that still want that paint control. So they're going to have to make sure to find creative ways to hold on to this paint control in this match. As we see, the Rainmaker is still sitting in mid. Very just staple situation on this map. A lot of burst bombs being thrown around. A lot of rays being thrown around.
Yeah, and I was gonna say there, actually, 3 down on the side of License to Krill, but unfortunately the one person who was still up was Bronze, so was able to stop them at that choke point there. Getting a few more cheesy points there, but everyone jumping in here is gonna give a very quick and easy triple to Flurry. Of course, now they're moving back into mid. Flurry's gonna grab this Rainmaker and try and move up as fast as possible while Massacre is still recovering from that semi-wipe.
Massacre did secure the lead here, though, so if they play their cards right, this could be leverage point. We have the Ray coming out early, we have an Inkjet coming out early. This is a very potent-looking push, but the well-placed Booyah Bombs puts a stop to it. However, there is a wipe yet again, and this could be the lead here.
Yeah, just not close enough to quite snipe that Rainmaker. Stopping it at 12. That isn't going to be the end for this specific match. There is a lot of opportunity for Massacre to come back from this. It's definitely not the end for them in this situation. Of course, Z is going to try and pick off some people coming into mid, but as you can probably see, License to Krill is going to continue applying pressure to mid. They only have a minute left to hold that lead, and I honestly think that's going to be that's just enough time for them to be able to hold on to that.
See License to Krill playing now without any specials, though. Well, now with the man advantage too, they might be looking to push yet again. This is going to be a very ugly timer burn on the part of Massacre for them to have to fight off this push, then push again. But we see this push getting quite a lot of traction. Well, being stopped now.
Yeah, regardless, I think Licensed to Krill can kind of play as messy as they want in this situation, because I feel like even if they do get full wiped, so long as Bronze stays alive, and I just commentator curse that, he did go down, but that is enough time for him to come back and build a Ray within that time period. They are, of course, going to be trying to take that elbow, getting the pick on Ali, who was flanking there, but it is Bronze being the last man standing there. Unfortunately, not even coming out of that with a trade. This could be the lead for them. They just need to play their cards right. They're almost there. They do need a pop. They just need some jump ins. This is very possible.
In the West.
They're 3 down. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Flurry saving the day again, just coming out and stopping overtime immediately. Flurry clutching out those last 2 games, as you can see there, and unfortunately a 1-point loss, which is certainly I would be salty, to be honest.
Yeah, the only thing that could have been worse is if they would have tied the number for a frame and then got killed. You see the tie for a second, but you know that since you're gonna get it first, not yours. But as you were saying though, you were saying that Licensed to Krill could play as floppy as they want, but I wasn't quite in agreement there, because I thought, as I said, that their comp didn't have the means to secure paint control rapidly. I think it almost would have been better for them in the middle of that match to disengage a little bit more, maybe grab the Rainmaker, but use the Rainmaker as a weapon rather than pushing it just to stop them. A lot of teams forget how powerful just holding on to the Rainmaker can be, using it as a weapon and then pushing it when you pushing it forward when it's about to die, if it's going to run out of time, just to get it away from your team. That's a very viable way to play. But with and it actually would have maybe been not a bad idea to make one of their lower painting weapons grab it, so that they can enhance their paint control. Because that comp definitely, as we saw, once they died for their sloppy push there, they lost control of the mid paints just really quickly, and they couldn't really secure it back at the pace that Massacre was pushing, and they only barely were able to stop the push overall.
Yeah, and what I originally meant with how they could play sloppy, it was just as long as Bronze stayed alive in their base. I think that was going to be the end-all be-all. Unfortunately, Bronze did go down. I think it almost would have been the better play for Bronze to just build up a Ray and then stand back as far as possible and just wait for his teammates. But trying to get that pick there early, I know he didn't really have much of a challenge as far as like range aside from the charger, but I think they did kind of catch up to him very fast, maybe faster than he thought. So Massacre moving up in that situation as quickly as they did actually rewarded them in a way. Even though they didn't take the win in that situation, it almost did happen for them because of how fast they moved there.
Yeah, definitely. Massacre's biggest strength in that the entire set was that they were able to really retaliate quickly. Whereas Licensed to Krill was a lot more methodical, I felt, when they were planning retaliations. It looked like they would more secure mid and try to paint mid thoroughly, and then try to take the next fight. Whereas Massacre, it felt like they were playing more the styles where once they stop a push, they would immediately just start transitioning it into their next push and start taking fights with the first people that they run into as they move forward.
Exactly that. Looking at this bracket right now, it looks like round 3 is almost over. That is a play all 3 set, so we're only waiting on Pickup versus Inkstrike Inklings and Fluency versus Midnight. Midnight already winning the set 2-0 technically, but of course we got to see the results of that last game there. Of course, looking at this as well, I'm saying of course way too much right now. Azure Ego winning the set versus Ingite's Harem 2-1. I should probably look at Ingite's Harem. Who is on that? That is a Kojobri, Swisher, and Ingite pickup. Who else do we have?
A very high potential pickup there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do think round 4 is going to be starting soon. We are just waiting on literally 1 game. So we are going to go on a quick break just before we do start round 4, where we will pick out the match that we will be watching then. So see you guys soon. Welcome back, everybody. So we're getting actually right into this match with Arctic Moon versus Southern Lights. Of course, Toon is actually going to be playing with Arctic Moon tonight. We're starting on Anchovy Games. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say before this matchup. Of course, Arctic Moon having some pretty decent results in tournaments recently, and Southern Lights showing themselves very much so in the Squid House. So, two very big names. Very glad to be commentating this set. To be honest, it's one of the most interesting ones I think we'll be able to see in the entire tournament. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I agree mostly with what you said so far. Southern Lights is Southern Lights the very one of the more veteran teams of this scene at this point, and they've been definitely on the rise for a long time. And Arctic Moon being a bit of a newcomer at about the same level, so this would be a very interesting and close match as we're going into this set match.
So we are starting on zones here. It is honestly, I find this is a very balanced zones map. I find this one very enjoyable. Shockwave, of course, knowing him as a Nautilus, playing Mini here, which is a very versatile pick for him. Kind of moving up on the left here, playing right in their faces, actually. Unfortunately, getting picked off by them, but that's not going to be too much of a hindrance, I think, for Arctic Moon early on in the game. They do still have a lot of pressure from their side. It did slow down Southern Lights, in a sense, having to turn their faces to the right and get him out of the way. And as I'm saying that, we have another member of Arctic Moon coming out of that right side there and pulling on a flank. They probably thought they were done there, but not quite.
Yeah, we saw a lot of aggressive attempts there by Arctic Moon to just get into the match. With it seems like Southern Lights taking a lot more of a slow approach to getting in the mid, which seems like it's paid off here. It's interesting to note that Arctic Moon's actually running a Hydra splattling here, which is one of my favorites on this map. Actually, I think it actually has a lot of strength here compared to a lot of maps in the game, especially with the armor that it provides being a nice addition to that end zap that they have.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to have a lot of armors this game. I feel like Zap and Hydra is at least going to be a decent counter to having a Junior. I feel like those two will add up to a similar amount that the Junior can create. Unfortunately, we are seeing the timer tick down very fast with Southern Lights holding that lead very strongly. So Arctic Moon is going to have to make some pretty quick moves in order to get out of here. That's 3 seconds left, and unfortunately, with Shock going down, that's just going to be the game.
Yeah.
I feel like just their attempts to flank in that game didn't work out too much in their favor, and it just allowed Southern Lights to get in and not let them out ever again.
I feel like Southern Lights got control of the zone fairly early before actually even moving into mid entirely, just based on how much their comp paints here. They were able to get control from a safe distance away while Arctic Moon was going for those aggressive flank plays, going down in just at a stagger. They were going down at just odd off-pace times, and that was really building up to where by the time that they were actually realizing, okay, this fight was lost, the timer had already ticked down about 30 seconds or so before they really started being like, all right, we're losing this situation, we have to play to get back in. And then by then they only really had another attempt before a wipe, which happened. The wipe that happened really sealed the game as, oh no, we need to move.
Yeah, I think you may have saw it as well, but Gray actually top fragged very hard for Southern Lights, which may have shown the fact that they couldn't really dislodge him from that one position he had next to zone. I feel like the Hydra struggled a little bit in that sense. The flanks were unsuccessful in moving Gray out of his one position, which was right around that fan there, and I think that just stopped them from moving anywhere out of their street. So that was very unfortunate for them. I wonder if Dark will be changing his pick accordingly for this tower control game. We might see a Ray from either side. We are seeing at least out of Gray, and Dark actually deciding to stick on the Hydra here as well. You know what? I think Hydra can hold its own on this specific map. I think it takes control of top mid and those grates very well, and honestly it's not going to hurt having somebody who can stand back and sort of just paint and get armors. Honestly, it is a very supporty weapon here.
We're going to see that Nautilus you were talking about last game coming out here. I don't actually entirely like running Hydra on this map. I think it would be interesting to see what they do with it, but this is not a pick I'd normally think for this map. But the greats are there, and that will help. The Charger going down early is going to be a lot of help for that Hydra. This is going to be a very good chance for them to set up. Hydra, when it gets set up here, can be quite a threat. So we're gonna see Southern Lights have to deal with this Nautilus as well. Very strong positioning from Arctic Moon early on here.
Yeah. Shock, of course, switching over to the Nautilus, which is allowing him to be very aggressive, and he's getting away with it like crazy. I feel like he's on a 5 or 6 kill streak here. We should not even turn our faces away from Shock, I think, at this rate. He's going to be popping this jet in their spawn, and no one seems to be able to take care of him. The Charger's kind of making shots, and people are leaking out a bit, but actually getting the pick on the Charger there around the wall. This could be a very quick game for Arctic Moon.
Excellent aggressive play from Shock there. Just burning time, getting picks, doing all the things you could really want out of frontlining a weapon like that. Just being a great distraction as well as a great killing power overall.
Of course, Legend getting back on the tower there. That's going to be 3 down. I think the only one being Toon left, and unfortunately she does go down. So Legend is going to be going back into mid and painting up as much as possible. Does have that bomb rush ready for whenever he wants it. I'm curious to see the usage on this specific map mode for the bomb rush, but I'm kind of waiting. I would almost expect him to run the version with the jet and the mist instead. So okay, maybe that's what it was for.
There's the use. I saw that one coming. But we're gonna see that bomb rush take a little bit of their streak. Good paint control already set up because of that bomb rush. We see unfortunately the L3 going down. That would have been really good for them to be able to get. I believe that's the Inkjet kit, the Inkjet up there. But yeah, overall, that push is starting to lose a bit of momentum here, unfortunately. So.
Oh no! Shock PC.
Oh dang.
But at least they are holding the lead, so as long as they're able to keep defensive pressure, just like Dark getting that insane kill, but unfortunately going down!
I love to see that play.
As long as they're able to keep defensive pressure, they can still clutch this out, I think. This could definitely still be their game. They just need to hold on, and that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah, in this tournament's rule set, unfortunately, at this point in the match, you do have to play that out. Once both scores, I think, have passed the threshold for any, as well as the timer. There's no hope for a replay here. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Arctic Moon adapts to playing around that, but it seems like they're doing fine here, actually.
Yeah, it looks like they're thriving. Twig actually getting these picks. I think almost Southern Lights was anticipating the match to be a little bit easier without Shock after he played so well early on, but Twig is actually the one taking hold of the reins at this point in the game and is like, okay, well, we missed Shock, but that's okay. I'll just kill everyone instead. So he's taking it to the top left here. Unfortunately going down to Legend, and Legend's going to come and try and move up behind this tower. But of course, Arctic Moon is still holding very decent pressure, and as long as that Hydra is alive, I think that's going to stop them from moving at least past these first couple checkpoints in this situation here.
Arctic Moon is doing a great job overall here of making it to where they're actually still playing a 3v3 for a good majority of this match. They're making sure that they get a pick on, for most engagements, they're making sure they get a pick on Southern Lights before they get a pick on them, and it's really even in the playfield and here.
Yeah, they've kind of held Southern Lights hostage in this situation because now they can pick whatever positioning they want on their side of the map where they have the advantage, and they have to come to them because they need to push in, not the other way around. I feel like at this point, Dark can just stand on the grates, avoid the Charger as best as possible, and that's not going to give much leeway to Southern Lights here. So as long as they hold on to this, they're good. With only 30 seconds left, kind of rough with the Hydra going down, but no one's gotten on the tower quite yet. They haven't started moving the tower, so they only have 20 seconds before overtime starts. And of course, that's going to be more than enough time for them, I think, to set up. And with them popping the Ray that early, I'm actually surprised by them doing that, because now they can kind of just wait it out. They have quite a bit of time.
They're trying to make Arctic Moon as uncomfortable as possible here, I feel, with their special placement, but it looks like those picks are going to be very helpful, and yeah, making it to where they can just stop the overtime there. But they were trying to string together the Stingray and the Bomb Rush and stuff to make sure that it was going to be as hard as possible for Arctic Moon to be able to mount their defense successfully there. But unfortunately, they still had the right specials and the right timing to where they were actually able to hold this out. But as you mentioned before, um, Arctic Moon, they adapted to the DC quite well in that they started playing excellently to the idea that they knew that they didn't need to push any farther. They had an amazing opening to the game. They knew that they just had to play layered defense and make sure that they win the first engagement of everything and that they don't need to push up at all. And they did a great job of just limiting their losses that way and making it to where they'd have to get through repeated layers of defense if they were hoping to actually win the 4v3.
So of course I keep saying of course, I need to stop. Clam Blitz on the Reef is going to be the deciding game in this set. I'm so happy to be seeing 2 best of 3s getting all the way to the 3rd and having it decided there. That's my favorite thing in commentary and in Splatoon in general. Not so much playing it, but I love watching it. Clam Blitz on the Reef. Honestly, this can be kind of a scary map mode, but I do think Arctic Moon might have the upper hand here. I think Nautilus is great at controlling this map, and that's, of course, what they're going to do. Playing, I think Jet is an insanely good special, especially if you can pick vantage points near the bridge. It's just super good here. We're actually seeing the Firefin coming out of, I believe that's Gray.
Gray, yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to comment that I think that that's interesting because this isn't typically a map I think of as a necessary powerhouse for Charger, but he's still sticking to his what's been working for most of the set. Unfortunately, they're taking some numbers here, including that Charger, and it looks like they're already being put on the back foot here as Arctic Moon is trying to mount up a bank of clams, and they're already depositing it.
Yeah, Young Obama going to be watching this street here and watching under the basket as well. They are trying to make more clams together, but I think that might be kind of poorly timed in this situation because they just barely missed it there. They did put a bit of a target on themselves.
They did get it in, though.
Yeah, they eventually did get it in. I think that could have ended up very badly for them, though. With putting it one together after already dunking, it limits their maximum points they get out of that push, as well as puts a direct target on them. Shock getting 2 kills, and he's looking for more, popping that Jet, getting a good vantage point on the street, causing one of them to jump out. Might get that pick there, but unfortunately the Jet does not have that kind of range. Suspecting Legend coming up behind him and getting that pick as well. He's still playing intense pressure on their street. Unfortunately, looking like he's going to go down to Young Obama there. I just love saying that name. I don't remember what player of Southern Lights that is, but I feel like he changed his name to Young Obama just so that I could say it because I love saying it, and I think that's what people want.
Is that Champ? Or is he somebody else in this comp?
I think that is Champ. I think someone did say that it was Champ. But you know, I'm not entirely gonna guess. I'm just gonna say that is Young Obama himself, the president of the United States. Of course, we do see him popping his Young Obama jet onto the street, trying to dunk some more clams in and get this lead back. Of course, I need to stop it. Dude is playing us up and getting the pick here.
Yeah, but we saw that push. Didn't get as much of an impact out of it as much as possible as the previous push. My bad. That Arctic Moon put on. Partially because they didn't give it as much time and they put their resources in a lot faster, it felt like, and didn't gather as many before going in. As we see, Arctic Moon has already pressed their lead even farther yet again.
Only needing, I think, 8 more. Or no, not 8. Not many at all.
Many at all, and that's
power clamming. That was, I think, 3 power clams in that one push alone. They were building up for a while. They gave them the pity, unfortunately, and they took that and ran with it. They were like, okay, well, thanks for the pity. Time to end the game here.
I think that there was a few things on display there for in that match in particular. Arctic Moon showing a very strong ability to play just overall the bread and butter of Clam Blitz, which is fast retaliation and fast work off of your the openings you get in terms of winning fights, and transitioning that into getting control of all the clams on the map as you can. And they were very quick at getting as many clams as they could before going in for their push, and then after the push started, cycling back in and out just a right pace to make sure that those pushes continue. And if you don't, and without that kind of expertise in the mode. Pushes can be very body, but Arctic Moon showed a lot of power in only 2 push attempts, I believe. They just knocked it out, and that doesn't happen without a very, very strong understanding of how to play that mode as a team.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with Clan Blitz in general, there does have to be a bit of a designated person holding pressure under that basket. If you're trying to go for these long quality pushes that you're going to get a lot of points in over time, you do need to have it so that they cannot control the basket, but you also need a steady flow of clams coming in, of course, to extend that.
Just the frontliners on the part of Arctic Moon did a great job of just being able to hold control of the basket once they got in, and stopping the respawns of Southern Light from being able to really mount a defense, as the mid and back lines of the comp cycled back and got clams, and it really created this great synergy. Another thing I wanted to note was how the Nautilus player, I believe their name's Shock, they had a great map awareness, as we saw. Just great, like, overall match awareness, map awareness, everything awareness over there at the beginning of that game, where they led 2 people down that ramp to go into the range of the Nautilus, which that's the thing that the Nautilus thrives at, is that bait and punish game of moving back with that charge through your ink, and then having people approach you where they don't have as much mobility. Going through your ink, they can really gun down people that try to disrespect that ability of the Nautilus. And then after the ink, using the inkjet to stall, and then as soon as they land, turning on that person who was coming down from the jump area. That was just an overall great show of map awareness and match awareness.
Yeah, for sure. Arctic Moon just showing that they have this level of synergy and like professionalism as a team together. They definitely know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to hold on to games even when they don't have the advantage in the situation. I think Tower Control and Manta Maria definitely showed that. It was just extremely smart plays that allowed them to get away with the set against Southern Lights, and that's what it really requires nowadays. I think to take games off of any really good team like Southern Lights is not necessarily having like a ton of kill power, but it's just playing smart overall.
I feel like that also made a statement as well. Arctic Moon, after that very quick game of Anchovy games, they just showed good resolve of being able to adapt to the comps that were being thrown at them, adapt to the playstyle of the players, and not let that first game really affect them at all. Even though just like such a disappointing game 1 led into a game 2 where they held out the 3v4, which I think really made a good statement for them in that set, just showing their prowess of being able to hold their resolve as a team, and that synergy really showed.
Yeah, 100% I agree with you there. As it stands right now, not a lot of matches completely done in round 4. We are getting there, but I do think we are going to take just another quick break before round 5 starts, so we'll see you then. Hey, welcome back. So we're back. It's round 5, so last one before we get to our knockout bracket. We're coming back in a kind of a fun set, I think, Sneck. It is going to be, this was surprisingly Kbot's idea versus Unknown Squids. I think the name speaks for itself.
Yeah, definitely. We got a array of common commentators for this event actually on that team.
Yeah,
For
maybe the reason we started late tonight, who knows? We are missing a few people. And Unknown Squids having Neon, Hoppy, Argo, no, it's not Sargo. What am I doing? Argo. I'm losing my mind tonight. F-Wall, and some others. I can't actually tell if that's Rissa or Regent in their who's playing for them, but we'll maybe find out depending on how this person plays. We'll see. Of course, F-Wall as well, and Aniki. I do recognize Aniki. I do think he is a brush player primarily.
yeah.
If it's the right person that I'm thinking of. We are starting off on Rainmaker on Blackbelly Skate Park, which is, no matter how much they nerf or change this map, I will always be terrified of it, no matter what. I am so scared of the snowball effect that this map has and the power that Stingray has. So that's definitely something to watch out for. I think if Unknown Squids are trying to go for the win here, that's what they're going to be running. And of course, there is a charger. No Ray on the other side. We are seeing Magic running the shot. Regent on the bamboo. Kbot playing Blob with Object Shredder. You go,
For the
Kbot.
meme pop,
Yeah,
I guess.
I think I'd like to see the spectator cam never move off Kbot, and then we can just watch him and judge him very silently, and then you and me can just stay quiet the entire time, just to bully them.
Yeah, maybe that would be an idea. But we see this going to not much. It looks like this mid fight is just being a little scrappy right now with the hammer you throw, obligatory.
Yeah, taking out Kbot, notably. Unfortunately, the brush running up on the bamboo as well, taking that player out as well. Nene moving up here on the right, getting kind of a bit of a fall-off shots there, not hitting anyone. They are getting very quickly on the leaderboard there, getting almost a knockout there, and this could be bad. Kbot goes down again. Nene's actually going to try and get in their spawn. They're jumping right off that pedestal. Unfortunately, getting punished there by Magic. Thank God that Magic is here. So they're actually able to stop this push at a 17, which is very... you know, you can fight back. On this map, 17 isn't the worst thing ever. You can come back from that. But it is going to be a lot harder for them since they are fighting Array.
You can come back from anything on this map, I feel, with a good wipe. It's still not as bad as it used to be, though. If anybody remembers playing on the first incarnation of Rainmaker, Blackbelly, and Splatoon 2, that Nintendo silently banned from solo queue rotations for a long time.
Yeah, and I feel like every time I commentate this match, I say this, but I really believe it's true. I think when you have somebody who is able to pop a decent Ray, I think taking them out is going to be the win condition, because no matter what, that person is always going to be trying to stay alive in the situation that you push. So, so long as you take them out, I think you do have a good shot at getting a lead or getting it very, very far into their base. But it is just a matter of getting to them to begin with, which isn't going to be impossible. Nene's already coming back into their spawn, gonna pop the splashdown and actually get taken out by the bamboo with some help from Kbot. He is pulling some of his own weight there. One person down on either side, unfortunately getting sniped there by the charger. Kbot, tisk tisk. They are picking that Rainmaker up right on the reset. I think at that point, surprisingly, Kbot's idea. Thought they were going to get the reset there. Magic cleaning up the situation very decently and popping these missiles to hopefully get a push started here. 56, not too bad to be starting on, but of course they need to get a lot farther to win this game. Unfortunately, letting that brush pass by him there.
Going in and wrecking things.
Just running in right for him. Getting an impressive kill on the Tetras there with them sliding around like that. I Good job, Magic. That Ray is actually pretty close to him, so it's not going to be an issue for him to take it out. Unfortunately, getting picked off by other members, and now Hoppy is going to take that side route and try and pick off anyone that he sees, including that Rainmaker. But I think they do have some time for people to come back in. Kbot taking a pretty aggressive position here and hopefully getting Hoppy out. Unfortunately, going down in that situation, but that's not going to be too much of a hindrance to them. They do have 2 people up, and I cursed them terribly because now it's only the junior and the others are coming back. So that's probably going to be a reset for Rainmaker.
Being hunted with missiles, and yeah, it looks like this is a complete back out situation for Unknown Squids here, where they're losing control of the map pretty quickly. We got the Rake coming out here.
Yeah, with 1 minute left and 1 person down, actually, they did take down Aniki there, so they do actually have an opportunity again. I think just a bit of an overextension from the Tetras there and getting picked off because of it. And with the Charger down, this actually could be the lead, but one of them needs to pick it up. Is Carrot going to be the one to do it? No. I actually think Kbot may have picked it up there. They are popping the missiles. Hopefully Kbot is able to take them to a victory. He's running quite a far ahead. I don't see any teammates in front of him. Unfortunately, Hoppy is going to be able to get that pick on Kbot there. Everyone else is still alive, though, so they do stand a chance. I'm cursing this team so terribly. I'm so sorry. They are going down in this fight, and I think at this rate in the game, they're going to just try and hold on to the Rainmaker. They're not going to try and push any further. I think they're just going to try and hold it there on that left side and not do too much more with it.
Yeah, it looks like this game is wrapping up pretty cleanly here with Kbot's idea unfortunately having quite a bit to push through, but still having a Tetras and a Brush, relentlessly pushing at them. That so far this game, they haven't shown too much signs of, well, looks like now they're showing signs of being able to put a stop to those advances.
They are pushing up very far, but they need to keep in mind as well, the Charger's still alive, so it was just a ticking time bomb at that point, because they did need to move forward and fast before that Charger has time to do anything, and it looked like that wasn't even necessary in the end.
Yeah. Honestly,
a very convincing game for them, in my opinion. Actually, they held up pretty decently. They didn't get knocked out at all.
The kills are actually not too far from even overall. It looked like, but
Magic kind of played freaky.
It looks like Kbot's idea just struggled a little bit more to move their kills into pushes, which those kills look like they were going to come as well with how Unknown Squids was playing the match. They were kind of playing on the idea. It seemed like they were playing on the idea that Kbot's idea would not be able to deal with the Tetras and the Brush pushing at them as relentlessly as they were, and it seemed like that was paying off for them, as they were really like Kbot's idea wasn't really able to get much of a offense started or really a defense started. They weren't really able to get into a formation for most of the map with a Tetra or a Brush or both, like just interjecting themselves into any situation that they were trying to set up.
Well, I feel like the Tetra doesn't need a whole lot of paint. I feel like the Brush does require some to an extent as well. So having a Blob and a Junior on the other team is definitely going to put them in a rough spot. But overall, I think that they played around it decently enough to get the win in that situation.
I feel like a Brush on Humpback can play a little bit without turf control if you know how to use the rolling mode effectively on parts of the map, such as the yellow grates and stuff. You can get around pretty creatively on that map, actually, with just how much cover and different elevations and crazy geometry that
with
map
how
gives.
Straightforward I feel that Black Belly is, though, I think it's very easy to see it coming, though, unfortunately for them. They actually pull out the Dynamo on this one, and Kbot's idea having a pretty similar comp. Magic's actually playing Tetris, and Kbot is going to the K-Pro. I thought it was going to be something else. I almost thought that was the other team's comp for a second with the Tetris there, but Kbot standing still. Kbot DC'd. I don't know if this is actually going to get played through. Do I get to bully Kbot for having bad net? Maybe. That was a very fast DC. I'm just going to blame whatever internet provider Kbot has. I wish I could guess. DC. That just ain't right. Magic was trying to record a music video there and was very rudely interrupted by that mini splatling. Very unfortunate for him. He's going to have to retry on some other sort of ramp that's going to be moving for him. The points are ticking down very fast, and Magic is going to try again over here and probably get interrupted again rudely by this mini. Oh no, they're going to take
Oh,
a
he's trying to offer a
together.
peace offering first before going for it again.
Yeah, he's holding a bomb in his hand, and he's probably just going to chuck it at Magic.
He has armor now,
wait.
so he can make a move if he wanted to.
Oh, that's true. You could probably toss him across the map. Magic has a splashdown, so this could be lethal. Oh, we're seeing some leapfrog. Love to see it. Just a warning for the spectator, if this gets bad, you might want to... Okay, good. Never got bad. Glad for that. So I'm assuming by the reactions of the players, this is going to be a very swift replay. So long as Kbot gets in here, this was his idea. After all, I'm going to say that again. How is he the only one with a pig?
One in blood. Anyway, I feel like with that map, with those comps though, we can look at those for a second here. The Dynamo Roller definitely being an interesting choice for this map. Did they, I can't remember exactly, but I don't think they really had another staple long-range weapon in their comp. So it seems like they were kind of playing off of the Dynamo being their anchor for that comp.
I think it's very strong on this map, to be honest. I think if you control a ramp in mid without much contention, like if you don't expect the other team to have some sort of longer range counter to you, I think the Dynamo is extremely good. It can hold the zone, and it can basically like control an entire side of the map if you play it well.
Those ramps actually do, with the geometry of the map around it and how just approaching the back side of those ramps, or rather the low side rather of those ramps are, just it gives the Dynamo a lot of control of being able to play in quite a few spots on the ramp, where something like, say, a charger, like a splatter scope, wouldn't have angles on it, given we're playing against the bamboo here. So especially, I don't think a bamboo would really be able to get too many angles on a Dynamo on that ramp. So it's definitely going to be getting that ramp as a win condition for them. If they can hold that ramp, then it would definitely be very hard to dismount that Dynamo. But unfortunately, once they get locked out, I feel like that Dynamo would struggle more to get onto the ramp. From there, if the Kbot's idea plays their cards right and denies the Dynamo that ramp and forces the Dynamo to play to approaching from the left side, then that could be a lot more dangerous for Mysterious Squids here.
Yeah, and I know we're a little beyond that now, but do you think that Kbot's one kill that game was his internet?
Yeah, he might have been killing his router.
Yeah, he may have just accidentally sniped his router, which is very unfortunate. Don't know what happened with everyone else, and Kbot is still not back. Okay, I used my curse for good. He is actually here now. So, assuming they're gonna go with the same comps, I don't think this tournament allows you to change comps with replays like that. Not entirely sure. That would be kind of odd.
Sure, they should be going the same comps. Yeah.
Yeah, same comps. That was a pretty quick checkup. So I think we can expect the Kbot K-Pro there. I want to combine those two things together to make one weapon, but no matter what I do, it's still K. Oh, the Kensabot, it's still the K Pro. I can't. Oh no, this is not looking. Kbot, Kbot, did he DC again?
Kbot is cursed this entire match.
I think we might be looking at another DC. I think I did see someone go poof on the purple side there. I think they all poofed.
I think there's some poofs going on.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely a host switch situation. Going back and looking at
Splatoon on Piranha switch, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully that'll fix it. Or Kbot could just be playing Sabotage, and this has all been his plan since the beginning. If you feel personally attacked by Kbot, please say so in the chat, and I will forward that to my superior.
Maybe the Kbot helpline, Kbot harassment helpline.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Some people do feel personally attacked by Kbot. So we do need to be watching that.
We might need to censor Kbot out of the match.
Yeah,
What are we calling him now?
I don't know. I was trying to think of K-Pro, K-Bot names, K-Brot, K-Prot.
Robot. Call him the
Yeah.
robot. That's all he is nowadays. That's what happens after you TO Splatoon for 5 years, is you just become a robot.
Yeah, I think you would lose any capability to feel emotion after a while. Just one too many North American Inkling openings. I'm just kidding. That's
One too many teams asking, hey, can we sign up a minute after the
no.
signups close?
I'm crossing my fingers for you, Kbot, that this time it goes better. I think with the host switch, hopefully things will go better this time around. We're almost ready, and as soon as we're able to get the lobby itself started, I think everyone's just going to be able to check up, and it's going to go real fast. Now, Kbot, if you are listening, I don't know if you are, because you're in the chat, so who knows. But if you are listening, is that Regent or is that Rissa? I want to know.
I don't
But I'm
know Arista
assuming
to
it's
be a bamboo player, but I'm
yeah, me
happy to be
either. So I
pleasantly
think
surprised here.
it is Regent, but I almost want to be sure, but I think it is actually Regent. I don't know why Rissa would not be Rissa. I'm assuming something else came up for Rissa, so Kbot's idea not working out entirely in that aspect. Okay, we have just gotten news that is in fact not Rissa, that is Regent. So good to know. We do have a bamboo player who plays bamboo, and not
Will
a
thank you.
52 gal player who plays junior for Temptation. Two different players. I'm glad that those were distinguished.
Seems like it's taking a little bit for somebody from the disconnecting side to reconnect to this match, unfortunately.
I thought it was Magic, but no, we have Magic, we have Regent. Oh, Carrot's hosting. No, it's not the disconnecting side. It's is it the other spectator?
Yes, it is actually.
Oh,
We are
yeah.
hopefully not having issues with that, but maybe it's best to get moving along if
Yeah,
even
just starting
without
the
them.
match without it being 10 people. Because I do think some of the other matches are done or almost done by now. I will double check on that real quick. Let me see here. I guess in this time I'll update you on what has happened. It does look like Midnight dropped from the tournament. License to Krill lost 3-0 to Mictlan Heroes. Massacre is up 2 in their set versus Usurper. Summit Psycho losing 3-0 to Kraken Warriors, and Southern Lights currently up 2-0 on pickup without a C. I don't know where the C went. Yeah,
They
so
gotta pick up the C later.
yeah, they'll find the C later. Maybe that's their fourth.
At here plus 1 C.
Oh, Simo. That's how we'll get Simo back in the game. We'll just ping for C a whole lot.
We got an M and an O with it, but that's fine.
Alright, so finally we're getting into the game. No DCs yet, and I'm happy to report there are still no DCs, and it has been a few seconds. So I think we're good on that front. Right off the bat, actually, one of them going down, and Magic going down to follow as well. So Anaki's going to paint this zone. It's almost going to be a full wipe. I'm going to assume Regent's going to jump out of this. Anaki popping a hammer for seemingly no one, but let's see if he can get a good throw. Let's see if it lands on anyone.
We know what he popped for.
No.
We know what he used that hammer for.
That?
He did exactly what he was trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he was just trying to bait some people out of the spawn in that sense, or try and get a nice shot. You know, just he knows he's being streamed. He's just trying to get some real good hype in the chat. So maybe if you guys say some nice things about Aniki, he'll land a really good hammer shot later. Who knows? Carrot picking this fight here in the mid. They are 1-1 with the people going down, but that is actually going to give a bit of man advantage to Kbot's idea. Unfortunately, Carrot going down in a bit of a pincer there. Wall just going to be putting some pressure there as well. They're kind of just holding zones, not pushing up too far in this sense. Magic, unfortunately, going down mid-splash down there, and they are going to be holding this lead very well so far and very convincingly. Just getting a constant stream of picks on Kbot's idea.
Yeah, it seems like just they're getting staggered and the specials aren't. Oh, and unfortunately late with that splashdown reaction, but it seems like, yeah, the specials aren't coming out for Kbot's idea as much as they want them to be. It seems like they're going down at staggered times, but it looks like now they're actually taking a 4-man push together with specials here to move in together, and might actually be getting something out of this if they can just avoid going down.
I think they did just need to slow down a little bit there. Magic was able to at least get a splashdown off. Kbot actually getting some good movement on that Dynamo there, able to avoid that flick and getting a pick on the brush there.
They do put that penalty time onto Unknown Squids here. Unfortunately, Kbot going down to the mini splatling with a classic 1v1 of the mini splatling versus the K-Pro, which saw a lot more of back when K-Pro first saw its rise, when he was actually popular back then.
And I feel almost watching this that those disconnects did fire a little bit under Kbot's butt there. He's very ready to go. He has like this huge fire in his heart and he's ready to go. He just wants to win. It's working out for him. Unfortunately, those missiles are going to take down 2 of them, so that is going to slow them down a little bit more if they're playing a little bit more patiently here. Kbot kind of stuck in this booyah with not a whole lot to do with it. I think it was just going to be a death trap no matter what happened there for Kbot.
Waiting him. He was
yeah,
just
they're just at all angles prepared to take him down. Very unfortunate for him.
Prepared to take him down from all angles.
Yeah, Aniki now just holding on to paint here. Almost ignoring Regent and just forcing Regent to play around him, which actually didn't work out for him. Was able to get up in Regent's face and take them down there. Magic and Carrot coming out of the left side here. Unfortunately, with Kbot being down, they aren't going to have a whole lot of time or specials to take these zones back. So if Kbot can charge a Booyah Bomb real quick, then maybe they're able to cap the other zone, and they actually are, so they do get that penalty of a 52 on them. Unfortunately, 2 of them going down, but that's not too bad. Regent's missiles actually taking out the Dynamo, but I think they maybe lost a little bit of focus looking at Aniki there on the left. He's just probably going to try and hold on to this area here and cause as much chaos as possible, at least getting a bit of a trade there with Magic, and that is again going to slow them down a lot, which is really not what they want at this point in the game.
Yeah, trades definitely don't help you when you're in this kind of position. It's better than nothing, but taking the trade is definitely not what we want to be forced to do in this kind of position for Kbot's idea.
Yeah, 10 missiles popping again with the ramps. That can be awfully brutal. Carrot, of course, just trying to hold the zone as best as possible. They only have a minute left, and they do at least need to keep holding these zones in order to prevent that penalty ticking down, at least for Unknown Squids. 2 down there, so they are able to perhaps cap here. They do need to take out this mini here, or they're probably never going to get the lead. Aniki is always... Yeah, he's just everywhere all at once. He's kind of just waiting for somebody to hop into his space so that he can take that. And I think that's going to be a huge deterrent for Kbot's side. Yeah, he finally hit it. I'm glad. I'm just assuming someone said something good in chat, because now Aniki actually hit a very good hammer throw there. But I'm sure he has plenty of skill with it. Magic breaking the force of gravity with his Tetra roll. I've never understood how that works. But honestly, they don't have many penalty points left. With 2 of them down, they could actually clutch out this game, I think. They just need to get through a little bit of penalty there. And honestly, if they can get people, like if they even get 2 down here, I think they can actually win the game.
They need to make sure they can get their specials online before they're forced to fight, and unfortunately it looks like that's not what's happening here. They have 1 special, but it looks like things are starting to fall apart here. They definitely need to be painting around and getting those specials a lot quicker than they did, because it looks like that's going to wrap it up. If Kbot's idea was looking for the long push, they needed to be not just suppressing the approach of Unknown Squids like they were. They needed to be taking advantage of how big this map is and having the people with the more valuable specials or the people that are further away from the specials going out of their way to the sides of the map and both securing paint control to make it harder for them to approach as well as getting their specials. That's really what Splat Zone is all about when it comes down to the long game of holding onto the zone. Is you have to use the rest of the map around the zone as a charge to your special gauge, as well as making it harder for the enemy team to approach. And it seems like Kbot's idea mostly played around mid, which is very it's very easy on this map to fall into that on Piranha Pit because of how the map's designed. Is if you do go out of the way while they're knocking at your door, basically ready to get in. If you go out of your way to the side of the map, they're just going to walk in, obviously, because of just how far away it is. It's a lot of area to paint and a lot of special to be gained. But if you go all the way out there, you're going to be giving up control.
Yeah, this last match is going to be tower control on Inkblot. I would love to give Kbot's idea the benefit of the doubt, but I know they're not going to have that same synergy or level of coordination that Unknown Squids is. I don't doubt these players at all, but I think what they are doing is just trying to have fun in this tournament. And you know what? Despite that, they're performing pretty dang well against this team. So overall, I have my own predictions on how this game is going to go in general, but I do like to see some performance. I like to see some flashy lights. I'd love to see another good performance out of Magic.
K-Bro.
Yeah.
Seems like he's
K-Bro
being
staying on the K-Pro. Nene actually staying on the Dynamo here. That's actually almost surprising to me. I'm not too familiar with this player, but you know what?
Dynamo is definitely
Dynamo
an
is
interesting
crap.
choice for TC. If they're mainly a Dynamo player, I think maybe the Booyah Bomb could be better than it would definitely be better for aggressive plays than the Stingray, perhaps. But I'm not sure if Dynamo players use the Stingray kit very much, except for on those very long, narrow maps where it's almost necessary, just because of how weird that kit can be otherwise. And then this kit, I believe, gets access to a Sprinkler, which can just help be just a secondary source of paint control.
Good passive pressure there. We did see Magic getting spotted out once earlier on, and now again. Carrot as well, almost just kind of sitting back on the left, but I think did eventually jump out. Unfortunately, Magic going down again, and they are going to be pushing up onto this top left very swiftly. Carrot popping armor there, and F-Wall moving back. This is some spectator cam moment right now. They are popping missiles on the side of Kbot's idea right now, and those are moving some people out of the top right there, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough in this situation. They do pop that Booyah Bomb right there, and Magic really has nowhere to shark as a Carbon, and that must be terrifying because he did get spotted out immediately by Nene, who is actually Nene on them right now. He does know that this one person is there, and he's probably going to try and shred this Booyah Bomb as best as possible. Kbot might actually come out of here with the pick, but not quite. If he's smart, he's not going to chase that, and he is smart because he's Kbot, so he's going this way instead. Just narrowly avoiding those missiles and that Booyah Bomb, kind of anticipating some pressure coming back from mid with those people backing out. So that's good on Kbot, trying to get this paint back here. That hammer throw from Aniki almost taking him out. Assuming that's Aniki, I do believe so.
You know that hammer's getting thrown as soon as you see it. It's a big flag to get down. But it's interesting to see how Unknown Squids comp here is actually pretty defensive, and that's one way to get through defense.
The Kbot frag! The Kbot frag! He got 2 kills.
Way to get through
he almost got 3!
He gets a little bit too ahead of himself, not realizing the respawns are already there, waiting for him. Magic's position for the Carbon. Unfortunately, a lot of the offense here on the side of Kbot's idea is already falling apart. They had a good opening there, but it looks like both the follow-ups were stumped in their tracks, and it might not go much further at all with everybody dead.
Yeah, that is going to be a full wipe. Carrot going to be the first one back, which is at least decent for them because they are able to get some of that paint back for them quicker than if it was somebody else, which is going to pave the way for Magic to come back. Kbot getting the pick. Very impressive. Let's go, Kbot. Can he get the fall off? He
Gold star now.
Kbot Div X confirmed. I am Okay. Kbot has his Booyah Bomb ready. Hopefully gonna get another double with that. Pushing up on this left side here, and it's Pop looking at Nikki there. Might
Is
pick
he
him
gonna
off
get
from
the
the
pick?
back. Oh, he
Oh,
doesn't
was
get
it
the pick.
Kbot? It was
Oh, it's
Kbot. Let's go.
Oh no! And getting taken out
The
by the
early.
mini splatling. That is so unfortunate. We almost got the Kbot cam for a minute there. I'm so sad. We have the bamboo on that top right there, playing a bit defensively, waiting for the return of the insane Slayer Kbot to come back in the mid. They are pressuring this right side, which is what they exactly need to be doing right now. Kbot popping that Booyah Bomb into their plat and trying to shred the one
That
from their
Booyah
side.
Bomb's on him.
Unfortunately, going down. Nene is just going to hold some pressure in mid. They do have all this orange ink, and they're just going to hold on to it as best as possible. Like, they only have a minute left, and getting to 25 is kind of an accomplishment on this map. It is pretty easy to defend, hard to get there, but once you do, it can either snowball or you can just hold that for the rest of the game.
That's a
and I think
wraparound tree.
yeah, that's exactly what they're going for there. Carrot does see this charger here and is probably going to just wait for them to pop that shot so he can get that before he can even charge up a defense. And yeah, of course, Carrot getting that pick there. Unfortunately, Kbot DCs again. So now we can't even blame the host. It is just Kbot's internet
The game
provider.
said Kbot was
His
fragging
final
too much.
flag of the game, yep, is going to be his router.
And the key
which
going
is-
for yet another stylish kill on stream with the bump into the water.
Yeah, gonna probably finish off the set very cleanly. Unfortunately for Kbot and his idea to disconnect.
It seems like that's the end of Kbot's idea here.
Yeah, I do think that's gonna be their last game of the tournament unless they won literally everything else. Unfortunately, looking at the bracket, that isn't gonna be the case. Very sad. Kbot does say, "I hate it here." Understandably, I guess I wasn't crossing my fingers hard enough. A very good S+ rank. I think we saw all 6 of Kbot's kills on the cam. Good job, spectators, for that. Not entirely sure for moving on to other commentators at this point in time. Or if it'll be the first round of Top Cut with me and Sneck as it has been earlier.
We'll be back soon.
Yes.
Stay tuned as I believe, yeah, we're going straight into Top Cut now, so we should be, should be some very close Splatoon upcoming here on stream, so definitely stay around. We'll see you soon.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to Testing Ground 7. You have been good little boys and girls this year, and your reward is some sweet, sweet commentary here in the knockout stage of Testing Ground 7 with me, Popgut, and Popgut. What is that? And joined on the mic is with the Magic 8-Ball. Magic. We're going to be bringing you Mictlan Heroes and Enlightentaco, basically enlightenment here.
Yep, it should be an interesting match. Mictlan Heroes, the rising team, and I believe they have a substitute tonight. But either way, these are strong players nonetheless, and Enlightenment has been around for a long time and been at the top for a long time. So it should be an interesting set of matches. I'm excited.
Yeah, Mictlan Heroes is always a team that's like knocking on the door, right? Like we
Right.
see them do semi-well in some of these tournaments, especially in these IPL tournaments. They seem like they've fallen just a match or two short of winning an SOS here or there. But here we see them as the number 5 seed in the top cut here. Obviously, you said Enlightenment. This was also the Slippy team, if I'm not mistaken, from the NA Open.
Right.
So obviously a very experienced opponent they'll be taking on here in round 1.
And in round 1, we are going to be seeing Clamblitz on Albacore Hotel with looking like pretty mirror match comps, except for Red Rum on his handy dandy sniper. Very cracked player.
And Oscar on the CDS. Correction, that is the BDS, I believe. It's kind of hard to tell from our end, actually.
I think it is. I think you're right.
But we do see the Nautilus mirror comp coming out here. Nick trying to hold down the right side on Clamblitz. Going in here, trying to get a pick. Does actually take down Cass with the junior there. And it doesn't look like, well, actually Oscar goes down as well. So 2 players going down here. Nick trying to find a way to move up a little bit, gathering some clams along the way, building up some specials. And, you know, it's interesting. We've been having, we're kind of talking backspace. There were some DC issues several teams were dealing with tonight. So hopefully we don't have too much of that going into this set. But already it looks, everything looks to be kind of clean in this opening minute.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. I know, I think Nick was mentioning on Twitter that he, some of his teammates are having a couple of DC issues, but let's hold our breath for now. Right now, the match seems to be going in the favor of Mictlan. It seems like they had a couple of good series of fights. They got behind Enlightenment at one point, and although they're 2 down right now, they do have some specials online. A great pick onto Nick, but going to get traded out by Redrum. And right now, these teams are just scrapping.
Yeah, we just kind of filling each other out. You know, welcome to Top Cut. Nobody wants to make the play that's going to cost them to lose here. We see Oscar now trying to push up, probably getting into a 2v1 situation. Will at least get a trade, and one player dying off screen as well for the side of Mictlan Hero. So Enlightenment trying to start something, it looks like, but they haven't really had anything to follow it up with just yet, except for now when they pop a little bit of specials coming out here. Looks like Baller and Inkjet going off, but once again, as soon as they try to get something going, it gets shut down. 3 players going down, and this will give control to Mictlan Heroes if they can find a way to get rid of that pesky Oscar that is slipping in there, and they do take down. So that is a bit of a delayed wipe. But the question now is, can they kind of capitalize off of that? Because we haven't really seen anybody do much yet to this point. Booyah coming out, while Lel as a baller, some players will jump in. And if they can take down, okay, I was about to say, that would be a huge pick if they could find a way to get there, get that kill there. But ultimately, very minimal damage done there as the wipe is coming out.
It was interesting, you know, Enlightenment on their first push that they had, it seemed like they've really focused on that top left area, you know, that corner of the map by the basket, and it didn't seem to be working wonders for them. And so now they're trying a different approach. This bomb rush coming out, it seems like the Inkjet's leading in the power clam. They have the pity from the push from Mictlan, and although 2 go down, they are able to break the basket. Not much else to follow it in, though. This power clam going down, and a couple of clams looked like coming from that Nautilus. But it's looking like that push just wasn't enough. It seems like they're very much tunnel visioning on one point of the enemy base and not having a lot of follow-up in terms of like how they're spreading out their resources.
Enlightenment is setting themselves up to do another push, though. Even though they didn't get lead, popping the basket there did at least give them control of mid, and that is something they can use to work with to set up a second push. But they're going to need to find ways to get a few picks here. Oscar actually, that's Taco. Taco doing enough to make a power clam in the enemy base. Do get lead off of this push here, but it's not really a lead they're going to feel too comfortable with, especially with a minute left to go. And losing a lot of players during that push, that's going to give them, that's going to give control of mid to Mictlan Heroes. And you see them in pressure, in position here, throwing rain, getting into a very nice position on the terrace. A lot of specials coming out here, and they do have a clam to pass the back, pop the basket with. Can they find a can they find a way to throw this one in? And they do get that one in there, but once again, getting wiped along the way could cost them, because this is going to give field right back to Enlightenment.
Both of these teams are doing a great job at not giving up too much of their base so that they can come back in, that they can make sure that they limit the bleeding. And as long as they're not overextending, as long as they're holding their ground well, like that Kgel on that right side there, this should be interesting. Red Room is a great pick. That's 3 down on the side of Mictlan Heroes. That's a wipe. This push could be everything. This Nautilus is back up, though. We do see a bomb rush and an Inkjet come out. He's trying to get a pick, is unable to do so. There's power clam coming in. That's going to be it. Enlightenment able to take it over Mictlan with a very back and forth game.
Yeah, the key to that game was every time a team got a lead, they sacrificed. It seemed like they were sacrificing too much in order to get it. They were getting wiped or losing 3 players and basically giving control of mid to the other team. So even though they've lost, even though like Enlightenment lost lead right there, I don't think they were panicking because they knew, okay, they're giving us all the tools we would need to make a comeback here, and obviously did just that and doing just enough to win Game 1 at Albacore Hotel.
Because both teams played great defense, they had to commit so much, and a lot of their players, you know, in terms of like respawns and whatnot, like they had to commit so much to even breaking the basket that it ended up just being a coin flip of, okay, who can break the base more, and Enlightenment was just the last team to do so, and I think that they were the first ones to do it as well. So it just came down to how many times they could sneak in a couple of clams.
It's the old adage, he who scores last in Clam Blitz wins. Which doesn't make it a bad mode, it just means but I mean, it's very difficult to get lead without sacrifice, like selling your soul to the devil to do so.
So does that mean it's Turf War 2.0?
I mean, if you want to think of it like that. One thing that is definitely not Turf War 2.0 is tower control as we now head into Game 2 at main stage. And it looks like we're going to be seeing an anchorless comp. I guess you could arguably say this is a double anchorless comp coming out from both teams. The classic Squiffer with the armor, I guess this is going to be the armor bot here for Enlightenment.
Squiffer has been having talks on Twitter. I've seen a lot of players who have talked about it. Nick getting a great pick here with help from his teammate on the right side. I think it could work. I think that it's a valuable weapon, and it has a quick kill time and the range and a solid special. We'll see how Redrum plays it. We'll see.
And already popping off the first armor in the 30 seconds, we see Nick somehow staying alive through all of this chaos and dragging down players with them. But while Nick is distracted on that right side, tower is being pushed, and it looks like they're going to have a good opportunity to clear this first checkpoint, which would be really critical here in the first minute. And they do find a way to do just that. As we see some players from Mictlan Heroes trying to push, realizing they need to get in position along the left side there if they want to push the tower to the second checkpoint, in which it looks like they might have an opportunity to do just that. As I say that, Red Rum with the Squiffer taking down a player. That looked like a 2v4 situation, so that pick there is actually huge. That's more of a defensive pick than anything, and that will keep the tower in mid at least a little bit longer as Mictlan Heroes looks to regroup and get back in position to form a push.
I really like what Mictlan did there. You know, they ended up breaking tower and then backing up because they realized if they kept going, it wasn't going to work out for them. But and it would have gone well for them if that pick hadn't come through. That was so clutch by Redrum.
You know, about 2 minutes gone here. That first checkpoint isn't the most difficult one in the world to clear, but it is nice to be out of the way, regardless for Mictlan Heroes, especially when you're coming into this game to losing the first one. We see Honage, kind of some awkward spectator view stuff there, but ultimately a fight that Nick wins, and now Enlightenment takes their first stab at clearing this checkpoint and trying to even up this game. At one checkpoint apiece, Nick lands the splashdown and takes down another player with them. Nick is just has been popping off here in the first half of the game and has really been keeping Enlightenment in this one.
He has been keeping them into this, but a lot of players on Enlightenment do go down. It seems like they're not making too much headway yet. Nick going down finally, and it seems like they're able to put a stop to this tower. Taking a sigh of relief, as that could have been the lead, and it could have been a lot of damage done if they hadn't kept their wits about them. Ink Armor going off here. It seems like they're trying to get a push started. One going down on the side of Enlightenment. This push is looking like it could be good. They have specials at the ready going out right now, and picks constantly coming in, as well as a dispersed Enlightenment. This could spell a big lead for Mictlan Heroes.
Yeah, getting past this checkpoint would be huge. This is a very difficult one to get across, especially when there's a Squiffer up at the upper left area just constantly poking at the tower, ultimately resulting in the death of the tower, and they will not clear this checkpoint. Oscar in a, or it looked like they were fighting someone. It looks like it was the Booyah Bomb that just kind of kept them distracted there. But I mean, if you look at the mid, even though Oscar gets a pick there, look at how much green is in the mid right now. So this is going to slow down an attempt for Enlightenment to try to push up. You see Oscar pushing up here, but it's just drowning an enemy. Ink, there's not really much you can do about that. A little bit of an overextension there, and they need somebody other than Nick to kind of pop off here if they want to find a way to not just get back into this one, but just clear that first checkpoint.
It seems like the cohesiveness of Mictlan Heroes is really coming through here. They're fighting as a unit, and even though they're all a bunch of short-range weapons, you know, compared to something like the Sloshing Machine, something like the Dually Squelchers, they're able to fight together enough to keep that disadvantage at bay, and especially with how much paint they're putting out, it's really hard for Enlightenment to break through. But now it's looking like they're starting to break through. Specials online. Unfortunately, one going down. This push could have been something. Another going down to the side of Enlightenment. Red Room trying to find this 10 attack here. Nick able to pick up the kill, and now jumps are coming in this last 30 seconds of the match, and let's see if they can't figure out a way to get this tower behind that checkpoint.
The two players do go down for Mictlan Heroes, so it looks like a situation where they can get past this first checkpoint. However, Nick going down, that is huge. You see Enlightenment taking control of the enemy snipe. They do have ink armor to work with. They don't have to get all the way through this checkpoint. It looks like they just have to get slightly through it. And with two players going down, ink armor coming out, missiles are coming in, but it's not going to be enough to stop the tower. Enlightenment gets the one push they needed. They played better than Mictlan Heroes for a grand total of about 15 seconds, but it's the 15 seconds they needed, and they get a very, very huge win there in game 2 to put Mictlan Heroes on their heels and facing elimination there. I'm genuinely surprised they won that one, Magic. It looked like I mean, it's not like Mictlan Heroes had a huge lead or anything, but it looked like they had control of everything for about 4 minutes and 45 seconds there.
You see, I think they had control of mid a lot. They weren't able to really break through Enlightenment. You know, they weren't able to steamroll that into a bigger lead. You know, that second checkpoint is hard to go through, but it's not impossible. And if Mictlan Heroes was able to do it, then that push probably wouldn't have ended so quickly. They wouldn't have had to force themselves that tower too early, and they probably could have stopped that push from getting the lead if that lead was a little bit bigger. But the resilience from Enlightenment and the way that they played defense and the way that they just would not give up tower, they fought for every single point that Mictlan was getting, was very important, because that's the difference between an overtime win and an overtime loss. And although it looks like it was swept under the rug of Mictlan Heroes, and for all intents and purposes it was, they did play some very solid defense.
Yeah, if I'm Mictlan and I'm going into this being currently down 0-2 in a best of 5, I'm thinking, all right, look, we've had our moments in both of these games where we've had the lead late. So they got to think they can hang with these guys at least.
Oh, yeah.
And with a mode like Splat Zones at Wahoo World. And once again, it looks like we're going to be coming out with an anchorless comp on the side of Mictlan. And that is a vanilla charger. So Stingray, opting to go with Stingray instead of the Inkwall and Firefin, or Inkwall and Bomb Rush that the Firefin comes out with.
Maybe they're trying to play for a bit more of a Stingray able to get back in. He literally tap shot that guy? He tap shot that guy? Retro doing it again? How is he not dead? What?
It's just your front-lining charger working out for you there. My goodness. Respect the charger at all range. And that is going to give the early lead to Enlightenment. And missiles coming out here. Missiles very good for Splat Zones. That's going to force Red Rum out of zone. Will it be enough to cap? It looks like with all the other specials coming in there, it will. So very, very nice retake there by Mictlan Heroes. They waited, they built up their specials, and but unfortunately they don't get any kills off of that. So the zone will just immediately flip right back to Enlightenment.
That's what the Ray's for. Did you see how he popped that Ray as soon as they got back into zone? As soon as they were feeling a little bit safe, but then there was jumps came in, and the Red Room got a pick with that Ray, and all of a sudden the tables were turned on Mictlan Heroes, and that zone goes right back to Enlightenment. That was really smart from Red Room, and very good job in capitalizing from the rest of the team. And here comes more specials on the side of Enlightenment. 50 count down for the side of Enlightenment. One going down though, but it's looking like Mictlan's still just trying to fight for as much ground as they can. Honedge getting a decent pick here. Rain coming out, and there's Red Drums on the zone. Goes down, and it's looking like this is going to be a cap for Mictlan. But there's still a lot of people and a lot of purple on their side of the map.
Yeah, the reason they didn't cap that one quicker is all the specials they're throwing out aren't helping them get picks. You saw them finally start taking down a few players, and I think that was just because Enlightenment was just getting bored and went out to try to fight them on their own ink. But we're seeing natural kills coming out more in the favor of Enlightenment up to this point. Yeah, the specials are going to help keep Mictlan Heroes in this one, but if they want to find a way to actually get a dub here, they're going to need to do exactly what Taco is doing and just murder people in the back. Getting a very nice double there, creating this 2v2 situation. Red Rum through the ink wall. No care for your sub at all with a very nice pick. And taking down yet another player. This is some coming out with Stingrays here. This will allow the cap to go to Enlightenment. Man, Red Rum kind of showing us why this vanilla charger is working out really well here on Splatoon.
I saw, going to Twitter again recently, I saw players considering Charger just one of the best weapons in the game at this point, and probably the top tier of backline at this point in the meta, and Red Room is putting on an exhibition of why that is. I mean, he's really just taking over the game right now, and there's nothing that Mictlan can do. A good Charger, in the hands of a good Charger player, it's almost unstoppable, and it's impressive what he's able to do.
Well, the mighty Red Rum is going to find themselves at their own spawn now, as we see Oscar kind of backing up. Mictlan Heroes chewing through all of their penalty points here. But once again, they're going to need to find a way to stay alive, and they can't do that. Two players immediately going down, make that 3. So just whenever Mictlan gets comfortable, somebody comes in and flanks, or a special comes out and gets the pick. So once again, it's the real key here is this, these natural 1v1s are not going to the side of Mictlan, and instead Enlightenment's just taking advantage of every kill they get, and they're already through all of their penalty points as well, threatening a KO.
These last two games, this is a far cry from those last two games where, you know, Mictlan, it seemed like they were in control, it seemed like they were fighting together, but I think the geometry of Wahoo World really plays against the way that Mictlan wants to play. You know, how they want to have, like, open areas with their teammates around them where they can, you know, fight together. But I think they're figuring out ways to at least use their specials to overcome that, but it's really not coming out clean. Like you said, they're not getting clean kills, and I think that's the difference here.
Well, they do chew through their penalty points here, and they don't have a whole heck of a lot to go through. Stingray and Armor are the only specials that are ready, and this Booyah Bomb should be enough to hold on zone a little bit just to give them lead, and they do get just that. Will be enough to get a KO. One player goes down on the side of Enlightenment. We see Lex taking down yet another player, so 2 going down. And let's make that 3. This will be lead right here. So, you know, whenever we point out something one team is doing wrong, they just immediately flip the switch and make us look like we don't know what we're talking about. But there you go. You know, another great come from behind win in this set. You can't count out either team, obviously, but it looked like Enlightenment once again was just going to run away with that one. But it looks like they found a way to eventually figure out Red Rum, which is very impressive. Like you mentioned, their comp wasn't really built to deal with a charger on Wahoo World, but at least for that last minute there, they took Red Rum out of the game, and that just kind of opened the door for them to get the KO.
That really was the pivotal moment, and I'm impressed that, like, I wish we had seen what had happened to, which is why Red Rum went down, but I guess at the end of the game, they turned on their jets, and you saw how Lex was able to play really well with that K52 wall and, you know, got into a decent hold position. And because of that, they were able to win their fights right at the end there. And, I mean, I think this set is all about the come-from-behind victories. So maybe the strategy is to just let your opponents think that they're going to win, give them a false sense of security, and then just come back right at them. That seems to be like the pressure point of these two teams.
Tactical throwing, I believe,
Yes.
is the proper the proper term for that. But yeah, I mean, we've seen all three of these games have been comebacks in the last few seconds here, and we're heading now to Rainmaker at Snapper Canal as we just wait for the teams to ready up here. You know, Mictlan. I'm thinking back to game one. I think Knot was their longest range here, so you're wondering, are they going to try? Assuming they're not going to bring out an anchor at this point, so they might go Stingrayless, which is almost sacrilegious at this point of the meta. But I guess we'll see here.
Yeah, I mean, they won the last game. Why should they change much? You know what I mean? You know, exactly. They're going to have the armor. They're going to have the missiles. They're going to have the dually squelchers from Honedge, who is our resident dually main. And ooh, we see a tri-slosher coming out from Oscar, going off of those dually squelchers. Maybe see if they can just get quick picks and use that armor a bit more efficiently. We'll see.
I've personally seen or Oscar pop off on the tri-slosher. So yeah, I guess we'll see if it works to their advantage on a map here, a very slopey map here, as we see the first push coming out from Enlightenment. It looks like they're opting to go the quick route to try to grab as many points as they can, and they're going to get a huge chunk of points, even though they do eventually get taken down there. And okay, they're backing up. This push is over, but wow, what a heads up play there. Instead of opting to take it the safer route, they saw the window and they saw an opportunity to slip underneath everybody and got a huge lead here. And when you're the team with the Stingray, getting that kind of lead in the first minute it's a very good situation to be.
Right. Because now they can play so much defense, you know, like fall back on that Ray no matter what. And if Mictlan isn't ready to deal with it, it's just going to shut down this push, as it's probably going to do right here. Mictlan trying to push in, but here comes that Ray. Already a lot of shots down, and yep, there goes Mictlan with one player left, all the way up in the enemy snipe, apparently, and I guess dancing around the wall. Nope, unable to do anything. Yeah, Jumps come in, but it's not going to be much.
Obviously, oh, there was a DC? Who? The Neo Splash? Yes. The DC for Enlightenment. Oh, but you know what? They have to play this out.
Yeah, because it went past certain 30.
This is gonna count regardless. So all right, we're gonna. Now the question is, can Enlightenment turtle up here and play this 3v4? They do have, I mean, it's Rainmaker. They do have a huge lead, but okay, two players.
Mictlan just decided to steamroll them.
This is gonna be a tough one to pull out. I was wondering if Red Rum was gonna kind of get a cheesy kill right there through all that chaos, but no. So yeah, you know, we were talking about this. It's been that kind of night for a lot of teams. Just for whatever reason, disconnects have been a major issue in this tournament. And because of that huge push they got there, ended up working against them, unfortunately, in that set, and that's going to cost them that game. You hate to see it.
You do hate to see it.
I mean,
and
only so much you can do about that.
You almost want to see Enlightenment pull this next one out, you know, just for the sake of, you know, them saying, oh, we could have won if it weren't for the DCs, which is really unfortunate, and it's such a hard position to be in. You hate to see it.
I don't care who wins this next game, personally. But...
No, I mean,
yeah, you don't want to win on an asterisk, but at the same time, you know,
right?
It is what it is. For all we know, this would Mictlan Heroes could DC in the next game, you know. But regardless, we are moving on. Like it or not, we're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as players join back in the lobby. But we will be going on to a game 5, which is Clan Blitz.
Yeah, it's game 5.
Mictlan. Honestly, you know, with the mode like Clan Blitz, and we did see Clan Blitz earlier in this set. You know, obviously Mictlan's going to go anchorless, and that might work to their advantage here on Mako Mart. The difference between Mako Mart and Hotel is that Mecomart is, despite being the better map for competitive, in my opinion, it's a lot closer. It's a lot more compact. So
Right.
the issues Mictlan Hero is having with the longer range that Enlightenment was bringing out probably isn't going to be much of a factor in this one.
Right. I expect to see Mictlan, like I said before, pairing up. I think that's really where their strength lies, is in taking a lot of close range fights where they have their teammates coming in from the different angles, and they have a lot of people in one area, and they have a short range fight. And because of that, I think we're going to see really good stuff from Mictlan Heroes here. I think it was harder for them on Albacore Hotel Clamblets because of how they needed to sacrifice so much, but because of the way that the baskets are positioned, like, you really don't have to overcommit to pushes here if you can get a couple of good picks and you can get a couple of specials out, which we've seen that they've been good at doing, like we saw in the Wahoo game. They're good at getting the specials out, and they're good at getting like a couple of picks here and there, maybe with a 2v1, maybe with a trade. So I think that the way that this map is going to function is going to be better for Mictlan Heroes here.
Oh my god.
In
I think
the
it's
lobby.
same player too.
Yeah,
Now,
it's Taco.
since Enlightenment didn't since they didn't use the replay in the last game, this is going to be allowed to be replayed. I mean, we're not even going to start it. God, do I really need to look up DC replays? I don't want to discuss how DC replays work on stream. I'm being told by the lovely voice in my ear that one isn't going to count as a replay, so we're just going to redo the lobby, and if they DC during the game and it meets the parameters, we will get to redo that one. But I mean, it's just I mean, I don't want to spend too much time talking about disconnects because that's not what you're here for, but it's just been that kind of night, obviously.
It has been that kind of night, and as much as we love to talk about the circumstances, we also need to talk about the players and the community coming out to IPL. This has been a stressful tournament for sure, but I think that I know myself and a lot of other players did enjoy it for the most part, beyond all of these crazy circumstances that are happening. And because of that, I want to give huge ups to the team at IPL for getting the commentators here, for putting on this event, and everyone in the background who are unsung heroes. Huge ups to them. Give them your love in chat, please.
Oh, for sure. I mean, this is one of the biggest weeks IPL's ever had. We had SOS on Wednesday, obviously testing around right now, and I guess I could plug this right now. This upcoming weekend is Low Ink, which is obviously IPL's flagship tournament, the biggest tournament run on a monthly basis. Already 100 teams signed up. If you are a lower level team and you're wanting to play in this, and you're waiting to the last minute to register, don't do that. Do that now. Make sure to register for Low Ink sooner rather than later, because the clock is ticking down on that one. But yeah, we're just still waiting for this lovely little lobby here to get set up. I guess while we're waiting for this, I can give you a little updates on what else is going on in the bracket. The number 1 seed, Arctic Moon, currently up 2. I'm refreshing my thing, so that might not be totally accurate. Oh no, Arctic Moon has already won. They beat what is this? Ignite's Harem 3-1. Solar has beaten laggy Australian team 3-0, and Southern Lights has I guess technically upsetted Azure Ego 3-1.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna have some we're gonna have some high quality Splatoon coming to you in round 2, if and when we ever get round 1 done here. And it looks like everybody is finally in the lobby. We're just waiting on one player to ready up, and they are. Magic, we are finally going to give you guys some decisive Game 5 action here.
Hopefully uninterrupted.
Winner takes all. Loser gets to start their Saturday night early. Clam Blitz at Mako Mart, as we see the anchorless comp coming back out once again. And Oscar on Tri-Slosher. I was going to say, if they did Tri-Slosher in the last map, they'll definitely do Tri-Slosher here. This is a very good map for that.
Also note the red room switch to bamboo, which is ridiculously strong here with those curling bombs, with those missiles. I expect to see good up
2 kills. Whoa!
Whoa! Already 2 kills on the side of Enlightenment, and it seems like they're going for even more. Oscar's snowballing forward, gets picked off here by the NZAP, and suddenly the return kills from Mictlan Heroes, and even more coming out, and Redrum in a sticky situation, and the wipe was turned on them in the favor of Mictlan Heroes this time. 10 clams, but it seems like they're not able to form a power clam just yet, and it gives them time to respawn. Enlightenment says, wait a minute, isn't this our set? No! There's 2 down already! These teams are both moving back and forth with these picks, and nobody's able to form up any clams.
Bruh, what kind of first minute was this? We just saw, okay, somebody finally scored. I was like, both teams had an opportunity to just blow up the other team's scoreboard, and both failed miserably. But now we finally have Mictlan Heroes getting the push going here, and it looks like they're trying to keep it going a little bit longer. Actually, no, that is a wipe. You know, we talked about in the last Clan Blitz game, teams were scoring, but they were getting a lot of wipes to do it. They were sacrificing so many players to do it. On a map like this, if you get wipes, you're not just giving up mid, you're basically giving an open door to the other team to come in and get a push going themselves, as we should see lead going here, and it does. Nick in a good position. 3 players going down on the side of the Heroes, and Nick's just looking for some more clams to soak up and throw into the basket. It doesn't look like they'll be able to do just that. They do take down Fear, but Fear will at least keep them from gathering more clams. But damage done. Mictlan Heroes scores first, but gets wiped doing so, and as a result, give up a huge lead.
Yeah, Mictlan is really unable to find these clean picks, like you were saying earlier. And because of that, they're really struggling in terms of getting out alive and getting enough resources ready to make these bigger pushes that we're seeing from Enlightenment. And even though they're getting great picks like that pick onto Oscar from Lex, it just seems like they're not able to convert it. They're not able to transition into accelerating themselves and getting themselves into better positions. And it seems like they're not playing in terms of strategy. It seems like they're playing a lot more with their mechanics, with their ability to get some trades.
Sounds more like you're describing competitive solo queue at that point, which, you know, at some point, it does kind of break out into situations like that, where it's just, I see fight, I try to take it, and sometimes you just don't win. But there goes Lex winning a very nice, make that a double there for Lex. This might open up the door for something, and they do have a lot of clams, but look, immediately, every time Mictlan Heroes gets set up to do something, the players with the clams die, and the push just immediately stalls right there. That might, if you're Mictlan Heroes, you might not get too many opportunities, and there's another one wasted, and another, it's more so a credit to Enlightenment to come out with these great defenses in these 2v4 situations they keep finding themselves in.
I think that the term we're looking for is resilient. Enlightenment has been nothing, has not let any of these like crazy 2-down situations stop them from finding the picks that they need to shut down these pushes. And you have to have a really strong mindset to do that, and I applaud Enlightenment for being able to come out of these situations with that kind of resilience.
Yeah, I don't think that, honestly, they've been wiped at any point. I think they got wiped once, but it was while they were pushing, so it's kind of understandable. We've seen both teams be very aggressive when they're trying to get some points on the board here. Red Rum doing a really good job of staying alive, but Mictlan's trying to swarm in on Red Rum, does take down 3 players actually, and the basket will fall, and the lead will go as well. Mictlan, Fear pushing up around the right side, trying to look for some more clams here. They're so close to getting the KO, and they do have enough clams to do just that. Taco taking down enough players though. Oh, but the last player left alive does get a few more clams in. But that will be the end of the push. But here comes the question once again. Did they sacrifice too much to get the lead that they got right here? And can Enlightenment, who only has to get rid of their penalty points, Well, actually, no, they got to do more than just that. There's a lot. This is actually a pretty decent lead here for Mictlan Heroes in the last 15 seconds.
And this is game 5, Popgun. This is go big or go home, and Enlightenment's trying to go big here. They've got 2 picks, they've got some clams, and it seems like they're going to be able to do it.
Oh.
Wait, one gets taken out. Fear trying to get the last picks, but it's unable to do so. It looks like there's going to be enough clams, and that's the lead for Enlightenment to go down. They're trying to end the game here with that last clam. Going to overtime. No! There's one clam that got in, and Enlightenment wins this on game 5 with a very, very last-minute come-from-behind push.
It's almost, that's the second time we've seen this. It's almost like Enlightenment wants them to score because they know it's going to work in their favor on the back end. But I mean, yeah, that's every time Mictlan got a push off, and it seems like that their push was successful. They just ended up sacrificing too many guys to do it. They give up control of mid. They give up control of all the clams that spawn, and in Enlightenment, I guess if you're looking for poetic justice, Enlightenment does end up winning this set, but it definitely wasn't easy. I think Mictlan Heroes, once again, we're talking about a team that's always knocking on that door. The door doesn't open for them just yet, but the knocks seem to be getting louder and louder with each set that we see from them.
Agreed, and that was even with a substitute in Honedge there, and Honedge is a fantastic player by all means, but you have to wonder with their core roster, when they have that little bit more synergy going, does that set go a different way? Do these players have what it takes to punch in that higher weight class? Gonna be interesting to see, and I'm excited to see where they go.
And yes, that concludes all of round 1 here, as all the teams are done. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's getting late. Let's not drag this out. We're gonna move right along into round 2 here. I'm assuming we're gonna go see Solar versus Southern Lights. Unless they started already, I'm not quite sure if they have yet or not. Looks like they. But in the meantime, we're gonna let the technical people figure out what we're gonna be seeing on screen next. Let's give a quick little plug once again. Looking for the perfect stocking stuffer for that special someone this upcoming holiday season. Give them the gift of low ink, the gift that keeps on giving. Once again, that is going to be this weekend, starting I guess about 13 hours from now, wherever you live. There's still time to register for that. If you are a lower level team, make sure you come out. It is the last low ink of the year. You don't want to miss it.
Indeed. I know a lot of players who have come through the system and who I know personally, and they love the tournament. They've grown so much from playing in that tournament, and it's heartwarming to see these teams go on and move forward, just as we saw with the Invitational High Ink. We've seen so many players who have come through this low ink tournament series and grown so much that they're recognizable in the community and they're respected and they're very strong teams. So this tournament is the starting point for a lot of teams, and it could be the starting point for the next big team that we see. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, whenever a team at the top disbands or goes on a hiatus or breaks apart and then forms up a new team with all the other players that broke apart on another team or whatever, the question is like, well, is this the end of the community? Are we done? No. The future, if you want to know what the future of Splatoon is, just look at low ink. And again, you mentioned high ink. High ink is kind of a good example of where teams that have come from low ink, where they are now. And we saw a lot of really strong play in that tournament, obviously. And that's the future of our little community here. So
right.
Yeah, it's very nice to see. And while we're done plugging stuff, I believe we're going to go ahead and get this next set started. This is Southern Lights, the team that finished second place in the Squid House tournament, taking on Solar. I personally played against Solar in this tournament, and they very graciously showed us a very quick 0-3 result. So obviously I know they're pretty good XE on that vanilla Tinta Brush that they like to use. It's extremely difficult to kill. I swear they have more than 100 hit points.
Gotcha. Right. Xy's a very good tent player, and a lot of other notable names that you see that have been rising up in the rankings, such as Garrett, such as Waka. And this is a rising team. While we see Southern Lights have, during the Squid House, sort of risen to another level, this is a team that's kind of trying to rise to meet where they were. And it should be interesting to see how these teams collide, and if these players are willing to go the distance and put up a fight that, like we saw in the Squid House.
These two teams had faced very little resistance in round 1 of the knockout stage, but something's got to give here, as we do see a that is a vanilla charger coming out for the side of Southern Lights, and a very paint-heavy comp coming out for the side of Southern Lights. Actually, a lot of with the L3, the junior, obviously the splash going down there, but 2 players going down. All that paint doesn't help you out much when your players are dying. If you kill the other team more than they kill you, all of a sudden you have the better painting comp.
It seems like both of these teams have really high paint compositions, which is very interesting. You don't see it a lot. A lot of times you're going to see the Pro, you're going to see the Tentatech, you're going to see things of that nature. But I mean, we see L3s on both sides. We see an Edzap and a Junior, and we see Champ with this Inkjet taking out a bunch of players. Oh, I'm sorry. Popgun, are you here?
I'm here. I can't see the stream anymore. Can you?
I can. Right now, Champ is working around with this bomb pressure and trying to get a flank on. There's 2 down on the side of Solar, and it seems like they're going to be able to get to that second checkpoint at the very least. Maybe not break through it, as it doesn't seem like they have the numbers quite yet. No, it's looking like this push is going to die out. A lot of yellow coming back up on the map. We're going to see Waka here on the sloshing machine. No, I believe that's Moon. Trying to fight, trying to get this pick onto Champ, able to do so. 2 going down to the side of Southern Lights. Isaac squid bagging his way to victory.
What a wonderful time for my stream to get back on to see Isaac. I'm assuming that's a controller malfunction more than anything. Okay, so look, they cleared the first checkpoint going into the second one here. So yeah, it looks. Oh, actually, they're kind of threatening to get the second checkpoint, and 3 players going down. They're going to do just that, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of really strong control. We see the pincer ability of Southern Lights here. You know, they're just take up space so fast and are suddenly at both of your sides. And there's 2 going down already on the side of Southern Lights. I mean, on the side of Solar, Southern Lights, they're both light oriented. They sound the same. I'm gonna get them confused more than once this set. I just want everybody to know that. But Southern Lights takes this in the first round of round 2 of Top Cut of Testing Ground 7.
Yeah, that's a very dominant performance there by Southern Lights in that first game. Solar, I guess, technically being the higher seed here, but seeds kind of go out the window when these 2 teams face off against each other. You know, if you're Solar, I guess the question is, what kind of adjustment do you make here? Obviously, they're still going to use the Tin Umbrella, you would imagine. But I guess, at least for the parts of that game that I saw, the Tin Umbrella didn't really matter because everybody else was dying. It's really easy to deal with the Tenta, who's trying to like soak up your attention, trying to skirmish, trying to absorb a lot of bullets with the shield and the bubbles that they're putting out there. But when you're the only player that's alive, it's not that too difficult to deal with there.
Right, exactly. Especially with a weapon like the Junior, who's able to just chuck bombs at your shield and negate you very swiftly. It's very hard to move in as a tent, especially how we see these paint-heavy compositions. And even though the tent can create a lot of space and a good bit of paint behind it, it's not going to do great when they're painting its feet constantly. So, good stuff coming out from Southern Lights. They're able to negate a very big threat in Xe and that Tent Umbrella, and let's see if they can repeat that on Splat Zone's Anchovy, which is a bit more tight-knit.
We see the teams readying up here. The Tin Umbrella coming right back out, and an anchorless comp coming out from the side of Solar this time around.
And so
Or actually, no, that's Southern Lights. I got the colors mixed up there. So yeah, well, I guess I was right. Regardless, yeah, a double anchorless comp here coming out as we see Gray hashtag melee free smash. Trying to flank around the right side here, trying to get a pick or two, but 2 players collapse in on them, and 3 players immediately going down from Southern Lights. Solar here getting control of zone and starting to push up, and the last player left alive, I can't believe that player is still alive. It eventually does go down there, taken down by Garrett. So Solar Lights, who got stopped in the first game, coming out really strong here in the first minute of the second.
Indeed they are. It seems like they really had Southern Lights' number there. You know, they forced their way up onto the plat area and just took out Gray when they were trying to flank. Seems like 2 going down on the side of Solar now, and jump back to the beacon, very smart, but it's not able to in time to save the zone from being capped, and Southern Lights is moving in, and that pet shield just got bombed. 1 going down on either side, and it's looking like there is a good bit of control for Southern Lights, but not too much, where it's going to prevent them from getting destroyed by a fizzy bomb.
Yeah, fizzy bomb to the face. Control doesn't really matter too much when that situation happens to you. But yeah, in that first little push there, we saw Solar Lights doing a really good job of taking advantage of the little 1v or like the flanks that Southern Lights was playing out. Especially case in point, right here, we see another player coming out by themselves from Southern Lights and immediately dying. I guess that's Yongo Bama. I didn't see that name earlier, but. Actually, here, despite that inkjet going off on their own, it might have created a little skirmish situation for the rest of the players to come here and clean up the players taking down the inkjet. So Southern Lights, maybe that was the game plan all along, and it didn't work in the first minute, but it's certainly working for them right here as they have eaten through all their penalty points. They're so close to getting lead right back, ultimately losing it, but do take down the Tint Umbrella player in the process before the zone just flips immediately right back into the favor of Southern Lights, who has a lot more penalty points to deal with this time around.
Yeah, it was interesting how they used that inkjet as almost a bait for Legend to come in and finish up those kills, which is really smart and really heads-up play from Legend. But you're going to have to keep your head up if you want to not die to these bubbles, which fortunately Exy gets a great pick here. Champ versus 1 last junior remaining in the mid right now. Champ's coming in for Southern Lights, and it seems like they're going to be able to pressure that junior back and cap the zone. Great stuff from Southern Lights. I mean, it seemed like there was just a lot of scrapping, and here it comes again. The Ink Armor coming out on the side of Solar. Inkjet coming out, able to get a pick. Zone trying to flip on the further side of Solar. Moon here getting a great pick onto Legend, and now it is 2 down, I believe, on both sides. Jumps coming in, and this Booyah Bomb is able to cap the zone for Southern Lights. They haven't gotten their penalty back yet. Tent going down, another one going down, Moon going down as well. It's 3 down on the side of Solar, and it's going to go towards Southern Lights for the lead.
You're probably wondering, how did Solar not cap there? It seemed like for the vast majority of that little stall that they had more players left alive, but the difference is players were stuck at their spawn. It was more of a staggered defense coming out here as we see the Inkjet getting taken down. A splashdown coming in zone, taking down the Southern Lights Inkjet, and will flip the zone, but a wipe coming out right there. But that was huge. That was almost a KO, so Solar buying themselves at least a little bit more time, but they don't have a whole heck of a lot of time to work with, because as soon as those penalty points are gone, this will be a KO.
They definitely took out a lease on life, is exactly what it is. And if they're not able to pay back this lease, as Legend is tearing them apart, taking all of their lunch money, and it's looking like this is going to be a countdown for Southern Lights. And the Ink Armor coming up, but it's going to be a little too late. And Southern Lights taking this game too.
And their lunch money, apparently. Rip. Man, in this economy, what a bunch of jerks. But hey, Southern Lights there finding a way to get the come back there. You know, Solar, obviously we saw a better effort out of Solar. Well, I wouldn't say effort, but a better game plan out of Solar. I think the main difference was the skirmishing that Southern Lights was trying to do early on ultimately ended up working later in the game, even though it didn't in the beginning. And Southern Lights being obviously the more experienced team, has been on bigger stages than this, knew how to wait for their plays to start working, and once they did, the zone and ultimately the entire game went into their favor.
I don't. Did Southern Lights run armor that game? I don't think so.
L3.
Oh no, they had
Kbot,
junior. They had junior.
Neo Splash.
It didn't seem like they were fighting with armor like a ton there. Like I saw there was one scenario. I think it was when Solar was just starting to push against them, and they popped armor. Solar popped armor, and then suddenly Southern Lights like got a stray pick, and this composition that was like running at them with a tent shield and an armor, and they just got shut down with like a one stray inkjet pick, and it seemed like there was just so much damage coming in from all sides from Southern Lights. I think that they just had like a really intelligently placed damage from all of their members who were focusing down the same targets, and it ended up negating that armor. And I think having the smarts to play around the armor in those situations is what separates a team like Southern Lights from a team like Solar.
Yeah, the one key thing we're seeing from their experience is their patience. They're not rushing things. They're letting the fights come to them, and they're letting their game plans work. If the game plan doesn't work in the first minute, they're not abandoning it. They're just reworking it, retweaking it. Instead of sending the K Pro, let's send an Inkjet and see how that works. But this time around, we do see the Kinsa L3 coming out from Young Obama of Southern Lights. So actually, a double hammer play.
I was about to say,
this is going to be some crazy. We're going to see some crazy stuff coming out here from Southern Lights in this, as they do get the pop. No surprise there with the comp that they do have. Legend taking down a player with the sploosh. No hammer necessary. 2 players going down from the side of Solar. The Tent Umbrella versus a sploosh, and the Tent does win that 1v1, as they look like they are opting to take the Rainmaker to the right. That is the safer, the smarter route, the less risky route. No jumps required that way. But Tent Exy doing a really good job of slowing this down, not really taking fights, but stalling it long enough for their teammates to come back in.
I think that Southern Lights was so focused on getting this tent down that they missed a huge opportunity, and just because they were trying to take down Exy, who stayed alive somehow during all of that, and now they're going to be able to pop hammer and stop this push for good. Just great stuff from Exy.
Bless their heart. Just I'm not going to die to your hammer. I'm going to. I die on my own terms, jumping off the side of the map there. But now we see mid control being fought for here. A couple of trades coming out. Legend pushing up. They do have a hammer at the ready, and now they are going to opt to take it, killing through the shield. Okay, and Legend going all the way up to their base. Legend is a very scary hammer player, even though that is the first hammer they popped off here. The real question is, how are they going to push around that left side? They don't really do a whole heck of a lot, but honestly, I mean, that on most maps, that's not a score you should feel comfortable with, and I don't think they will, but on a map like this, that's honestly a lot of points to get in Rainmaker.
Right, I agree completely. I've been subject to a lot of Rainmaker stalls on Rainmaker Sturgeon. It's a hard map to really break through unless you're at the top of your game, and Southern Lights here is able to take down the members of Solar once again. The green was retreating as respawns come in, and because of that, this push could just literally be sat on for the rest of the game. They can have the hammers to break through those tent shields. They have the armor to protect them in those longer skirmishes, and they have Isaac, who's going nuts and flanking the enemy on their tower and staying alive somehow. And I think because of all of those reasons, they're going to win this game.
Well, it seems like Solar's got an anchorless comp here, but it seems like their comp is still kind of built more for a defensive play style instead of having to be an offensive one. You see they got Toxic Mist, that's the slow down pushes. But here we go. Hold that for a minute, because 2 players just went down. This might be the one window they need. They do clear the jump. They just got to find a way to get... Oh, and the bridge is down as well. Moon taking down a player on the bridge, and they do just enough to get lead. So now, all of a sudden, what I was about to say, just scratch that, because now their comp is going to work out well into their favor with the Tent Umbrella. But obviously, the Toxic Mist, if the Toxic Mist gets deployed, as we see right there, that's going to make it impossible for the Rainmaker to land the jump if they try to push left. So it's almost like as long as that splash is still alive, Southern Lights is going to have to push it to the right.
And it seems like they're not even going to get the chance now that they're 2 down. A hammer coming out. Wait, that's a double kill from, I think it was Champ. No, that's Legend. And 3 going down on the side of Solar because of that Rainmaker pop. 10, I believe it's 10 M's here, is able to pick up a great pick on Legend to probably slow this bleeding down. Another great pick on the Inkjet. And what looked like a great push from Southern Lights, what potentially could have been a great push, is shut down by this Splash-O-Matic, putting in so much work and so much pressure, especially with those Toxic Mists. Southern Lights is able to grab the Rainmaker once more, but it's going to get stuck down by that tent with the hammer, and it's looking like it's going to be a minute remaining, and Southern Lights is not in a good position.
They are not, but they have an opportunity. Actually, no, that say if they could find a way to get a pick right there, and someone jumped to him, but obviously it died. So a Knight's defense there by Solar, and with about 25 seconds left to go, you see the key, as odd as it might sound, the key is going to have to be the taking down that Neo Splash. You see Southern Lights wants to take it to the left, but look at the Toxic Mist coming down there. They're saying, you are not going to jump to the left. You are going to have to push it right. But 2 players going down. Legend, or actually that's Young Obama's hammer this time around. Getting 2 players down, but is anybody back at the Rainmaker to pick it up? Okay, somebody does. And Young Obama, nice, but we need to see what the Rainmaker's actually doing here. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, somebody did flunk around and killed the Rainmaker there behind camera, but still a very nice defensive effort by Solar. They took advantage of the one window that was presented to them and just kind of used their kits to their advantage to get the win right there.
Yeah, especially with their 2 main ways of stopping that tent down. That tent was able to push through and barge their way through to that lead up in the top left there, which is exactly what that tent is supposed to do in that situation. And because of that, we see the game going towards Solar. Very heads up. And yeah, just all around solid play from Solar. I mean, it wasn't like super clean. It seemed like Southern Lights had the picks going. It just seemed like they couldn't convert a lot of the time, and whether that was because of the solid defensive stands of Solar and the clutch plays that we saw, especially like that Inkjet from Solar, they just weren't able to convert.
Yeah, the play to throw Toxic Mist there to force him left and then pop the Inkjet to capitalize off of it. I mean, that's just understanding your kit and understanding what your weapon is fully capable of and taking full advantage of that. Another thing you kind of mentioned was a lot of the kills going down there. We didn't see a ton of hammers being popped. I mean, we saw some and they were really awesome to see, but you would expect with 3 people using hammer that we would have seen a lot more hammer action in that game. And the reason we didn't is because there was so much death going on, so many kills going on. If we could see how many times, if this was Splatoon 1 and we saw how many times people were dying, I would assume there were multiple people that were in the double digits there on both teams.
Right, exactly. It's a very scrappy game, was that one. Especially I would expect nothing less from Legend, who's going to be throwing himself at the enemy team with that Sploosh-O-Matic. And yeah, I think I'm not sure what I think, in fact.
I know.
I don't know what to think at this point.
We're heading to game 4 at Clan Blitz at Humpback Pump Track. Solar staving off elimination at least for one more game to try to force a game 5 here, as we see Legend coming back out once again, trying to double down on that Sploosh 7. Actually, pretty much the same comp, except Isaac coming out with the Junior on the side of Southern Lights and sticking to the Tent Umbrella. The Tent Umbrella has been a really good factor so far in the favor of Solar, not so much in the kill section, but as far as the look at me soaking up attention section.
Yeah, and as well as the I'm able to play around objective, and I am preventing you from killing this objective. But Legend says, I'm just gonna throw this hammer out and kill you anyways. Great stuff from the Southern Lights. Let's see if they can't get the clams ready. They're tossing. They've got them all stored up at the front. But unfortunately, the respawns are coming in from Solar, and there's one going down on the side of Southern Lights. Unable to convert that push, unfortunately, because of the clams.
Oh my gosh, they had the wipe too. They got a clean wipe right there without losing to anybody, but just couldn't find a way to get one person 10 clams, and a bit of a blunder there, but they still have control of mid, and they're going to get another wipe right here. So back-to-back wipes in the first minute here, and Legend's going to say, you know what, I'm just going to gather up a clam myself and throw it right up in there. 2 power clams go in, and a lot more clams to follow up with that. It's going to come down to, can Solar find a way to get a defense going here? And somehow, I was about to say they stopped the push, but somebody sneaks in through the trench, and there's a wipe. So a lot of points given up there, but we've seen this happen so many times while we've been on stream. The team that gets wiped while doing the push, it gives up control of mid, and this one, while this is a huge deficit to come back from in the first minute, they're giving up a lot of resources to Solar here.
Yeah, and especially with that tent, they're able to definitely get that clam in. They've got a little bit of extra here. There's the K-shot up on top of the basket, and they've got the pity clam, and they were able to jump it in. Great stuff. Great popping this booyah bomb, able to stop some clams from coming in. That's going to be the wipe finally for Southern Lights, but that was a fantastic push on the side of Solar, knowing exactly what they needed to do, especially with that flank from the far side of the map. Tent going down here, but that was great stuff from Solar all around.
It was so fast too. They realized they weren't sitting there being like, oh man, they only got 33 remaining in one push. No, they realized, hey, we wiped them. We have an opportunity to make something happen here, and this got a huge push right back at them. And now it looks like control of mid is in control of Southern Lights, which is good. They're losing, but they're finding ways to, they're going to soak up the clan economy. You see Gray taking down a player, but and MC taking down another player themselves. So here we go. Another delayed wipe, this time on the side of Solar. So now they are going to be the ones that are going to be on the offensive, and they're not trying to turtle up right here. They're trying to get even more points off of this.
I'm confused on how that tent went down, but I mean, all right, that splat bomb was a great pick, and another clean pick from Gray, and suddenly what looked like it couldn't be a great push from the side of Solar is turned around on them for once. Great stuff to Southern Lights for making those heads up play. They've got 3 specials online now. They just need the clams. Wait a minute. Oh, they got in position before they had the clams, and they weren't taking up ground, and they got a little stagnant, and Solar found them. That, you hate to see it.
L3 versus Tent's a hard matchup to win if you're the L3 there, and obviously XE being a very excellent player, finding ways to get a pick there. 2 players going down, XE using the tent to push up. Booyah Bomb's just going to slow this down, but it's not going to do much more than that, as we see Solar not coming off of the gas pedal here. Is going to pop the basket, but if you're Solar, you got to be thinking, hey, let's pick our fights here. I mean, we don't want to get wiped and give this game right back to Southern Lights, and it looks like they're doing just that. They are going to back up. They're not going to try to force this. Question mark. Okay, no, they're not. So there they go. They don't add to their lead, but more importantly, they don't give up control of mid, and that is going to be critical in these last 40 seconds.
Especially since we saw how much damage Legend did with that hammer in the first minute. You know, we saw 2 hammers come out, but if they're able to negate them like that, then you know, backing up, making sure they respect the hammer. I mean, it's great stuff from Solar to make that adjustment. And if they can keep this up, then they can shut down these pushes. There's 20 seconds left, some ink armor coming up, and the Sploosh is finally has the hammer online. There's 2 going down on the side of Southern Lights to make that 3. Champ's the only one left. There's 10 seconds left, and they have the wipe and no clams, and that football is going down. I think this is it for Southern Lights on this game.
A heck of a defensive effort there on the last push. It seemed like Southern Lights had all the resources they needed to get lead back, but you know, just when one team starts to see the light at the end of the tunnel, 2 players immediately die for from something off screen. A hammer comes flying from the heavens. 15 kills from the tent there, off of only 2 hammers. A very impressive performance from Exi on the tent umbrella, and that is going to force yet another decisive game 5. Hey, who's picking these games on stream? We're doing a good job of that. Back-to-back game 5s here. Tower control at Manta Maria is where these teams' fates are going to be decided.
That was wild on all accounts. It seemed like Southern Lights had the specials to deal with that defense, but it seemed like they just didn't use them or didn't use them correctly. I'd have to really look back at that and see exactly what happened, but because it seemed like Southern Lights had everything going for them right at that second, and then just that K-Pro got 2 picks right at the bump, and they didn't do anything about it. You know, it was kind of I expected to see a little bit more from those Southern Lights, and now it's like game 5 on Tower Control Manta Maria.
Yeah, these teams are so disciplined. They're not. We've seen a lot of doubles come out. Like a player will pop off and kill 2 players immediately, but we haven't seen it capitalize off of anything substantial on top of the scoreboard across any of these games, except for obviously the tower control at Schellendorf, which was just a complete curb stomp in favor of Southern Lights. But I mean, the patience, the wherewithal to not get rattled, to not, oh crap, we got to back off, we got to. These players are standing their ground, and they're finding ways to make nothing out of, or something out of nothing. And that's really why Solar has been able to bounce back, being down 0-2 in the set. And now the players are ready up. So we're going to be giving you yet another decisive game 5. Winner take all. Loser gets to chill in the 3rd place match and fight for the bronze medal here at Manta Maria Tower Control. As the teams start to ready up here. No surprises coming out from the side of Solar, and a charger coming out from Gray Melee, who's been using K-Pro these last couple of games for Southern Lights. The key here for Southern Lights is going to be, can they keep Gray #Melee comfortable so that they can land their shots here?
That's going to be key.
Like
and
that.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
that.
exactly like that. If he can land shots like that without being contested, it's going to be the end of the line for Solar. This push starting, this tent shield coming out, there's another one going down to the side of Solar. Gray's looking like they're sitting pretty. They got the Ray, but one is finally coming after them in the bunk, and Gray is going to get taken out because they popped the Stingray in a precarious situation, and that very heads-up play from Garrett's going to turn this into a wipe on Southern Lights, and this push could bring them a very strong lead.
Yes, and keep in mind, Southern Lights destroyed Solar last time they played Tower Control, but they're in a very good situation here. Gray Melee going down yet again, so there's not going to be a Stingray at least ready to stop this second checkpoint. And once again, this second checkpoint, very difficult to get across, and it looks like they will clear it with ease in the first minutes. One more player going down, the tent player. I don't know where they are, but that'll be ending this push for Solar. But regardless, damage done here. Solar Light's been put in a huge hole here early in the first minute, 30 seconds.
That was, I mean, I'm so impressed at how quickly they moved up onto the enemy side of the map, on the side of Solar. Like, they took no time at all to get all the way up into like the deep past that large bunker area. They got all the way able to kill Gray really far back in the base, and it was just impressive. And now Southern Lights is once again on the back foot, unable to do anything as a double goes down. It seems like these spawns are now desyncing. One going down, unfortunately, on the side of Solar, but it's not going to stop this push. Wait! Gray getting another pick, but this tower is still moving. There's a splashdown at the ready. Gray's getting chased, but they're trying to just dive at tower. 2 going down to the side of Southern Lights. This 20 push, there's only 1 up on the side of Southern Lights. There's 10 left, and there's 1 player standing between Southern Lights and a loss, and that's game! That's game 5! That was such a quick push, and Solar is able to take it away from Southern Lights with a commanding victory on Tower Control Manta Maria.
Is this the same 2 teams we saw play in game 1? This is
I don't think so.
Polar opposite of what we just saw there. Get your brooms out. We just
Get your brooms
saw
out.
a reverse sweep by Solar, winning 3 straight games there and sending Southern Lights, the defending silver medalist from Squid House, to the 3rd place match. And Solar will be moving on to grand finals, taking on the winner of Arctic Moon and Enlightenment, which we will be bringing to you guys very shortly. But before we get to that, we are going to take a quick break, use the restroom, get our water ready for what could be a very exciting best of 7 grand finals. We will be coming right back with you with that here on Testing Ground 7. And welcome back, boys and girls, and all you space cadets out there that are just excited about the 100 space-themed Splatoon teams we have in this community. We got two of the best space-themed teams for you here in the grand finals of Testing Ground 7. Solar versus the Arctic Moon, literally the sun versus the moon. And both these teams come into this grand finals having to win a very close Game 5. Arctic Moon beating Enlightenment 3-2. You just saw Solar beating Southern Lights 3-2. So a very stacked competitive tournament, at least in Top Cut here. As now these two teams will be facing off. Arctic Moon looking for their third ever Testing Grounds championship. Solar looking for their first. And the first game is going to be Splat Zones at Black Belly, kind of a controversial map. I personally love it, especially because it's the only excuse I have to use X-Splosh anymore.
Yeah, definitely. The burst bombs and things like Explosion are just going to be extremely dominant on it, especially with the small size of the zones and the close quarters. It makes for a very chip-heavy damage given and received, and so we're going to see just that on the side of Arctic Moon as we're getting into Game 1 of Grand Finals for Testing Ground 7. Let's give it up.
And this is the first time we have seen Arctic Moon up to this point, and there you go. We see an X-Splosh right away coming out from Arctic Moon as we see Shock here trying to find a way to get a pick or two. Instead, their teammate does go down early on. But taking it down, Garrett on the tower. You know, as we see more players going down here, nobody's really established control of mid just yet. And this is kind of an awkward map to establish control on, especially in the early goings, as we see teams just kind of rush mid, be the first one to claim control of that tower there and get some pushes going.
Indeed, and we're going to see, Moon. You should have seen the bomb. Where's the bomb? And Arctic Moon is going to be able to come back into this map, able to finally get a little bit of semblance of control, especially on this top tower, especially on that right side of the map. But the bomb rush coming out from Bless, able to take out the NZAP and establish a bit more control in the favor of Solar, but it's going to go right back, and these teams are scrapping so hard right now. The not finding any clean kills, that was some fancy movement from Twig there. As we see Arctic Moon trying to fight for this other side of the zone and able to finally get a cap down, get some penalty points on the scoreboard, and again capping the zone.
Yeah, but you know, we again kind of a repeat of what we saw in the last match. Nobody really getting wiped. We're just seeing a bunch of multiple trades, a bunch of doubles coming out, a lot of kills coming out from both teams, but nobody's getting wiped, and it's ultimately just kind of resulted. Yeah, Solar has a lead, but it's not really a huge lead here in the first 2 minutes, and we haven't really seen legit control be established by either team up to this point. As we see Xe trying to push up here, seemingly by themselves, realizes that they were in a 1v4 situation and wisely backs off. But the key for Arctic Moon is going to be, can they get their X-Splosh on control of that tower? And with two players going down and make that the X-Splosh dying themselves, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Arctic Moon to find a way to do just that.
But Arctic Moon seems like they're in a bit of hot water as well, too, going down on this side, and it seems like they're getting pushed way back into their base. Solar able to really push this aggressive composition way forward with the power of the sloshing machine and how it can get these crazy shots off, like we're seeing right here from Moon, and the presence that's felt from the Tenterbrella. It's so hard to push through these two players, and especially when Moon is on the flank and trying to get a bunch of picks. Unfortunately taken down, that's going to be a wipe for Solar. It's going to be tough for Arctic Moon to really seal out this game, considering what we've seen from Solar so far.
Yeah, and that was a really nice push by Solar. It wasn't like they just got a wipe and they just kind of created a lockout situation. They just kind of had this 4v4 fight where they just held on to the map long enough without losing a lot of players, and that ultimately got them a lot of points in kind of an unconventional, scrappy kind of way. But 2 players going down now for Solar. Arctic Moon trying to create a lockout situation themselves. You see Shock sharking with the Nautilus trying to get a pick on a player that's spawning back in. But very nice situation for Arctic Moon to be in. They're kind of keeping the fight away from the tower, but maybe overextending just a little bit. This should give control of at least the Solar zone to Solar, as they're just fighting to hold on to this lead just long enough, and they do just that, putting the penalty points on Arctic Moon as they gain control of not just the zone, but completely control of mid at this point.
That was great. Just they never stopped giving up space to Arctic Moon there. You know, they kept pushing them back, and forcing their hand. As we see them force the Booyah Bomb out of Twig and get caught in that situation. Splashdown coming down for Arctic Moon, for Solar here, excuse me. And Arctic Moon, I didn't see what happened, but it seems like they're in control, and Twig getting a couple of nice picks here. Zone goes back in the size on the side of Arctic Moon, and as this timer is ticking down, this could go into overtime, and it's gonna be who ends up getting this last fight win. And Twig decides he wants to try and make that happen, tries to find a pick, unable to do so. He's got that Booyah Bomb at the ready. Ink Armor coming out for Arctic Moon. This timer is finally ticking down. 2 down on the side of Solar, and it looks like there's an Inkjet coming out, but there's a Bomb Rush on the side of Solar that's going towards their zone just to try and cap it out. That's so smart from Bless, and just to stall it out and give it some time so that they can move in and get these great picks. And there's 3 down on the side of Arctic Moon. They're not going to be able to finish this cap. That was so smart.
You think you've got it all figured out. You think, okay, we're just gonna shoot through these penalty points. All of a sudden, literally from over the wall comes 100 suction bombs, and while you're dealing with the distraction of that, May 10, who we our research team, aka Magic, found out during the break that is actually Bless. You said?
Yeah, I believe it's Bless.
Bless using the distraction of the suction bombs to come down from the side and just get a nice double there. I wonder if Arctic Moon legit had no idea where those suction bombs were coming from.
It seems like they did.
It's coming from, raining down from the snipe there. So a very nice play. I mean, Arctic Moon, they created a good situation there. They realized, you saw Twig just kind of painting the Solar zone, just sitting there and just painting over it, and then realizes, okay, we can't win the game with me being passive. I need to go out and find ways to get some kills, and they were doing just that. They just let this suction bomb rush from the heavens just flank. They just got flanked by a suction bomb rush. That's so crazy, but ultimately worked out in their favor there. Very nice heads up play by Bless, and Solar takes game 1.
And if they can sneak out of that game, I mean, they're really showing that they deserve to be here. Arctic Moon has consistently gotten high placings in these IPL tournaments. You know, they've shown time and time again that they can beat teams like Enlightenment. They can beat teams like Sonder. And they deserve to be here. They're punching in that weight class pretty hard. And if Solar's showing that they can do the same, it's going to be a really tight set as from what I've seen from the first game, and I'm excited to see more plays like that.
Well, and not just these 2 teams, but I mean, Enlightenment came within 1 game of beating Arctic Moon. Southern Lights came within 1 game of beating Solar. So we're seeing a lot of teams that are really close to each other's skill level. It's just 1 or 2 plays here or there that has ultimately been the difference. So a good set for for all 4 of these teams to kind of VOD review in the future, but we're still focused on game 2 of grand finals here. Dark coming out with the Hydra. I still believe Dark is the highest caliber player I have seen use Hydra at any point, but uses it so well. But on a map like this, Clan Blitz at Reef, not the best Hydra map, but obviously in the right hands, any weapon can work.
In the right hands, exactly. To use a Melee reference, because we love Save Smash here at IPL, a skilled Roy can beat any Fox. And if you're familiar with Melee terminology, you understand how that means that even the worst weapon can beat something like a Tentatek if used properly, if using their resources together, especially in combination with their team. And as this Hydra is pressing forward, using that ink armor, getting these picks, and spraying down the enemy teams, they're going to dunk it in and get a little bit of a lead here for Arctic Moon.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about a Hydra in a grand final set, but obviously Dark knowing how to use that to their advantage and kind of create plays from the anchor position, as you see a huge push coming out here, opening off that will be stalled, but Dark once again in a good position to kind of hold this bridge and eventually try to take it themselves. That again, no charger on the enemy team to kind of deal with this. The tip will be annoying, but if you're Solar, you got to think, okay, if we make Dark uncomfortable, we take advantage of this kind of tanking weapon, as we see the trade coming out there, that might open up the door for us to do some damage.
Blesses in the flank, they under the basket, and there's jumps coming in. This power clam, unable to find its way to the basket, unfortunately. A solid flank, it looked like, especially with them pincering and taking out that Hydra, but it seemed like Arctic Moon was just at the ready, and now they've got a ton of clams ready. This K52 putting up the wall, building up Booyah Bomb, Inkjet coming out as well, and these specials are flying back and forth at each other. Twig barely not getting taken out, and these power clams are waiting for an opening, and Twig is going to try and find that in the enemy car. He's up there, they've got the jumps, they've got the ink armor, there's nobody there waiting for them, and that's going to be a huge push for Arctic Moon here.
It could have been a lot worse if they didn't find a way to take out that Nautilus that had a lot of clams going for themselves there. As we see a counter push trying to get formed here by Solar, but yeah, they had 37 clams at the ready. But now on the flip side, Solar now has 30 clams, opting to pick up that Mercy clam with Garrett because they feel like this is an opportunity to strike, and they're doing just that. They get all of their clams in, and it's enough to take lead. Garrett taken down, yet another player, Dark being the last player left alive for defense, and this looks like it's going to be a KO, and they do just that. Solar flipping the script, and we see this happen. There's so many times we've seen this in Top Cut here. Teams are selling their souls to get huge pushes, but on the flip side, they're giving up too many players. Too many players are dying, and they're just giving up control of the entire map to the enemy team. It's happened so many times. You just got to think, okay, at one point our team's going to realize we can't go all out on these pushes because it backfires every single time. Every single time we've seen it happen, Magic, it keeps backfiring.
It really does. People don't realize the efficiency with which the teams can move up and just swarm after a wipe. And we didn't see Solar do it the first time, and I think that's why Arctic Moon was able to feel comfortable doing that. During their first push that they got off, Arctic Moon, they ended up going, I think there was 3 down, it was just Dark on the bridge, and they really didn't feel that threatened that much. And then it comes this next push, all of a sudden, there's everywhere is purple, and Solar is coming at them with 30 clams, and it's just like, where did this come from? And the efficiency with which Solar can move and formulate these pushes is fantastic.
And now we're heading to tower control at main stage, a little bit of a slower mode. This might work into Arctic Moon's favor, and they're going to need that. They need to find a way to win this game 3. You can't go down 3-0 against a team like Solar. Solar's been proving a team that can make the crafty plays when you least expect it. They're proving to capitalize off of the limited windows that are being opened for them. You can't let a team like this go up 3-0 on you if you're Arctic Moon. I mean, they're just... I know Arctic Moon is skilled, but that's too tall of a mountain for them to climb. And obviously, they're going to have to find a way to get a win here. I don't know if we're going to see the Hydra coming back out here. This is a really good remix map and mode, and I know Dark likes to use the remix from time to time, so I think that switch will help out Arctic Moon a little bit as far as this game goes as well.
We just saw this in the first round of the Top Cut. When we saw Enlightenment barely take it from. I can't remember the name of the other team. It's very tired as well. It's 1 a.m. But we've seen how this map mode can play out. We can see how tough it is to get these pushes off. So let's see if these compositions, especially with something like a Hydra standing in their way, if Solar can break through and get a solid push as Shock tries to open up this game and does not find a kill.
A very patient play there by Shock. It doesn't ultimately result in a trade, but enough damage done by the other players on Arctic Moon as we see Dark sticking with the Hydra and Toon kind of pushing up around the side here. Can they get into the Solar snipe? It looks like they're trying to do just that, taking down the T-Tech, keeping the fight away from the tower. They see the tent coming along the backside there. The Xy's been using some really effective tent play so far in this tournament. But it will be the first checkpoint that does fall into the favor of Arctic Moon, and 2 players going down. This should be the end of the push? Question mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But damage done, but not a huge. Passing the first checkpoint, not a huge accomplishment, but an accomplishment nonetheless for Arctic Moon, who will take anything at this point.
Arctic Moon there was really surgical. I really liked their formation of that push there. You know, they had 2 players go down towards that right lane, flanking that snipe area, and were taking control of it, not letting anyone get up there. And they had 1 person going out left, making sure that nobody was going to come straight forward at the tower or come in from that court area. And they're going to set up a similar kind of thing here. You see that again. You see 1 person on the side. You see 1 person in the pit. You see Dark on the tower. And you see the 1 person who was hanging out on the left side there. And because of this, because they've got such a great idea of what exactly to do, they're able to create so much space. And there's 3 down on the side of Solar here. And Arctic Moon's looking like they're going to break the second checkpoint, which they do, which is very hard to do. And it seems like they're going to get some bonus points here, getting the push down all the way to 26 as Twig backs out.
Backs out. What makes you think they're gonna back
I
out?
thought they were going to back out. And
These
look
guys
at
take.
they were hanging around.
These guys fight everything that moves, and you know, Twig kind of gets away with it there with the trade. But I mean, you hit it. You said it just right. This is that was kind of a surgical push. The second surgical push that we've seen from Arctic Moon there, as they take down the K machine. Coming out from Solar, it seems like Arctic Moon knows what position you need to be in for each specific checkpoint, and they got themselves in the correct spots, and that allowed them to get past that second one here. But now they're going to need to turtle up and play a little bit of defense, and they seem to be doing just that. The Tent Umbrella is going to survive on the tower long enough to clear the checkpoint, and Moon getting a very nice pick there, possibly a double here if it wasn't for, actually, I was about to say, the Dark doesn't get the kill, and this will be the last player going down. How are they still finding a way to stay alive here? Another player dropping down. Shock is very lucky to get that trade, and they're going to be very lucky if they can hold on to this second checkpoint. You see Xy pushing up, trying to get into the enemy space. Once again, keeping the fight. Don't look at the tower. Look at me. And they do take down the tower, or they do take down the tent, and it looks like it wasn't a big enough distraction. Moon jumping out there. Push stopped. And Arctic Moon is very lucky to be still holding on to that checkpoint.
Oh, they're extremely lucky. It seems like Moon is just tearing them apart. It seems like each of these players on Solar has the potential to step up and make a very important, impactful play, getting a bunch of kills or getting a really smart position off. And because of that, I mean, it's so hard to stop these explosive players, but it's looking like Arctic Moon is trying to drop and do just that. This Tent Umbrella able to protect Garrett and Xy for the time being. As they back away from this tower, Garrett popped the armor, decides, hey, I want to go back in. This push isn't over yet. Gets 1 pick, and armor comes down for the side of Arctic Moon, and this fight's still not over. A minute remaining on this timer, but there's a less remaining on the count for Arctic Moon to get this lead. For Solar, to get this lead from Arctic Moon. There's only 1 alive, and there's a Tent Umbrella trying to stave off Dark, but on that Hydra, Bubbles coming out, and this could be the lead. 26, and there it is. Solar takes the lead back in the last 30 seconds, and 3 go down. Wait, make that 4 go down on the side of Arctic Moon, and Solar sweeps the rug out from under Arctic Moon, who played this game so well, but with a few quick picks and with some very well-timed armors, that game turned around.
Arctic Moon played, you saw they played so desperate right there, and I feel like they didn't need to. They were throwing all of their bodies at the tower to try to stop that second push, but it seemed like just by staying back and using their own range to their advantage, they were doing just fine, but they weren't dissatisfied with killing people on tower. They wanted to actually jump on it to stall it, to reset the timer at the checkpoint. And that overexertion ultimately cost them the game. I mean, it got to a 1v1 situation, a tent on the tower with bubbles versus a Hydra. There's nothing you can't kill a tent
really
like
can't
that.
do it. You try to go in. I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, Hydra running at a tent on a tower? Like, come on.
But at that point, everybody else on Arctic Moon had just dive bombed into the tower. This is like, okay, it's 1 a.m. We're down 2-0. We need to hold on to this checkpoint. We can't lose this checkpoint. And I think they just focused too much on trying to just stop that push right there instead of just getting into position to save the lead in general. But credit to Solar, obviously finding a way to come back there, getting across that checkpoint, making the plays they needed to do, and now just one win away from knocking off Arctic Moon, a team that has 2 gold medals and a bronze medal in testing grounds. They're saying, you know, Arctic Moon, it would look really cool if you had a silver medal in your trophy case here.
I'm very impressed by the play I'm seeing from Solar. I think Arctic Moon didn't quite have the defense at the ready there. It seemed like it just wasn't as stonewalled as I would have expected it, considering how well they did on offense. And because they didn't have their game plan down, it's going to go to a game. They need to pull off a reverse sweep if they want any chance at getting another gold medal.
Which Solar is very familiar with. I mean, they had to do a reverse sweep. Keep in mind like this: Solar in all these close sets, these teams being really close to each other. Solar is now on a 6-game win streak against Southern Lights and Arctic Moon right now. Let's let that soak in as we're trying to figure out where Solar stands as far as like all these top teams in the West here, as we see them come out with their traditional comp. C-Jet coming out here. Is this Rain? It's got to be Rainmaker. Okay, I didn't even look at the mode, but I saw the C-Jet and instantly realized
We're very
that it had to be
by the way.
Rainmaker.
Dark going for this early Ray, popping it as soon as he gets it because everybody loves a good Ray spam. Trade going over on the side, and it seems like 2 to go down on the side of Arctic Moon. Armor gets popped. There's nobody to really utilize it, and as such, Dark is going to get pushed back by this Rainmaker, and this is going to be a very quick 30-some push for Solar, and they didn't even get the Rainmaker pick yet, and there's everyone alive on both sides. Once again, Ray coming out one more time, one going down to the side of Solar, one going down to the side of Arctic Moon, finally taking down the Rainmaker with that Stingray, and a good bit of damage done from Solar, but it's obviously not a great push.
It's not, but going to that way and getting as many points as they did, taking it to the right there, will prevent Arctic Moon from getting the wipe and just immediately popping it and running with it because it's too far away from the Solar side of the map to where they can get some points. Instead, they have to let it reset, which means they have to let Solar respawn and get established control of mid once again, as we see Xe being the last player left alive now. This is a little bit different of the situation though. Now the Rainmaker's in mid. Now a lot of players are down from Solar. If we see somebody pushing up and does get taken down, I believe that was Twig. Xe coming out now, does have a hammer at the ready. Might just chuck it and see who they can kill with it. Nobody, but the Rainmaker does die as well. But 3 players down. This is still kind of the even ground at this point. But for Arctic Moon, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more of a desperate play coming out of them, realizing they have to win this game, and considering how desperate they played at the end of the last game. Well, I think we might see a little bit of aggression coming out here, and that's exactly what Shock is looking to do with this flank.
Yeah, and speaking of aggressive and desperate, I mean, look at that Booyah Bomb from Twig. It really was out of position. It really was over aggressive, and as such, like, they're making these plays which are really not conducive to, winning the video game. And so, you're seeing Solar move as an absolute unit here. We're just not seeing that same cohesion from Arctic Moon. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, it's real easy. It's real easy for you and me to give them the excuse of like it's 1 a.m. They just came off of a very close 3-2 win over Enlightenment and all that stuff. But give credit to Solar. Solar is putting them in this situation. And look right here. This
Solar
could
might
be
be
the
ending
whole
the
tournament
game.
right here. Garrett climbing up the tower and Solar turns this set around after being down 2-0 to Southern Lights in the best of 5 set in round 2, wins 7 straight matches to win Testing Ground 7 4-0 over Arctic Moon. Hello, Solar. You have our attention now.
Definitely. I've had my eye on Bless and some of the tournament runs he's been making, but this just seals it. I mean, they are an established force to be reckoned with, especially in these next upcoming IPL tournaments, especially in the scene at large. And as this late tournament comes to a close, I'm very, very fortunate to have casted such great sets.
Yes, once again, the top 4 teams here, actually all top 8 teams, really put on a performance throughout this entire tournament, and it can't be stated enough. Obviously, we saw Arctic Moon making some plays that indicate that they're kind of worn down and kind of tired, but don't take any credit away from Solar because they're dealing with the same situation they've been dealing with the DCs and the time frame that we're in right here. Part of the reason why Arctic Moon wasn't playing as well as they had in the past is because Solar was putting them in those situations. Solar was putting the pressure on them, and ultimately Solar comes out as the victor here. I believe we are going to, before we sign off for tonight, because you thought we were done, I believe we're going to have a special announcement coming in soon from our host for this tournament, and we'll be bringing you that shortly.
And again, thanks everyone so much for coming out and for supporting this community and for supporting Testing Grounds as a whole. And to say something on the matter, Snek, are you here? Snack.
Yes, I'm here. Testing Grounds, up until this point. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm hearing a stream. My bad. 1 second. But yeah, Testing Grounds up until this point has been running at 8 p.m. EST typically for our events, but for our next event, which is conveniently going to be landing on the New Year's Day, January 1st, 2021, we are going to be running starting much earlier in the day, probably closer to around 2 p.m. EST. We're still working out the exact time. You'll hear an announcement probably in the next coming days. And signups are actually already live for this event. If you do look at our Battlefy page, they're already live for you to get your team registered soon. And we are going to have at least a minimum starting prize pool of $100 that will be divided however we see fit, depending on what our number ends up being closer to the final date. So you can look forward to that, and it's going to be hopefully a longer event. We might have more rounds of Swiss depending on how many teams sign up. The time slot should be more friendly to EU teams to get all your EU teams in there, pickups with EU players, whatever you want to do on that front. And overall, yeah, might run a top 16. It's all dependent on how many people sign up for this, and we're going to hopefully make it into a much bigger event than our usual. So yeah, we hope to see you all in 2 weeks on New Year's Day for some quality Splatoon.
That sounds great.
Thank you, Snek, and thank you for hosting this whole tournament. And putting up with all of us annoying people in help desk, including Magic and myself. We are on our best behavior most of the time. Hey, Magic, where can people find you if they want to find out more information about you in general?
So on the screen, you can see my Twitter handle. If you want to follow me at Twitch, it is magic8_ball. And I stream Splatoon content pretty regularly. I streamed my tournament run of this, which was hysterical. If you're looking for a good time, Kbot, myself, Brissa, and Carrot were all in a pickup together for this tournament, and it was a great time. So if you want more of that, follow me over on the Twitch. Popgun, where can they find you?
Oh, I feel so bad for Carrot, bless her heart, dealing with that. Hey, yeah, you can. I'm not gonna. I do a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna list out everything right now, but you can just find me at Twitter at Mr_Popgun. You'll hear my voice again on Sunday for Top Cuts Grand Finals of Low Ink. And with that, I think this is the perfect segue from all of us here at IPL, Sneck and Rays hosting the tourney, our producer Kraken Mayer, and all the other people we have working behind the scenes here at the Performance Labs. I am Popgun once again with the Magic 8 Ball, and I think I speak for both of us when I say happy holidays, stay safe, and we will see you all in 12 hours to kick off Low Ink. Good night, Squiddos, and once again, congratulations to Solar.